Hi. Yeah. Bet that wasn't the way you wanted it to start. How about that? Ladies and gentlemen, it's Monday, so you know what that means. It is time for more Blackout Racing on F1 23. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good evening, good night, good afternoon, and all other time zones besides, before I get cancelled for being chronologically exclusive. That's a thing now. Anyway, welcome to round number 17 and 18 of Season 2 on F1 23, which is Season 14 in Blackout's illustrious history. So let's have a look then, while we are here at the calendar. We are here at week number 9. You can't see my mouse, so I'm circling it. I look like a fool now, but that's not the point. The point is, we're on week number 9, 27th of November, as it is today. Catch up. Abu Dhabi and Hungary. Who's going to be the most famished? Who wants to quench the thirst of victory? We're going to find that out today. I have absolutely no doubt whatsoever. And then after that, for Season 2, there's only 4 more weeks. Unbelievable that, isn't there? Genuinely, it's flown by. You can't really believe how quickly it's flown by. Of course, we're breaking off for Christmas. Yes, Monday is in fact Christmas Day. And we could have done a Christmas special Blackout Racing League, but the majority of the committee said no. And there wasn't even a vote. And I'll be honest, I think Christmas Day, we probably all want a break to ourselves. That sounds about right. So we're having a break, and then New Year, 2024, we start with a bang. A big bang at that. Because we're off to Portugal, where there's a sprint weekend. And we have the Japanese Grand Prix as the final round. Although, there is the question of what we do with Brazil and Spain, and possibly Australia as well. But that's a long conversation for another day, and I don't know if I want to have that right now. But there's your calendar today. What can we expect? Well, it was Terziak and Thanassi that took one race win apiece last week in Grand Britain and Las Vegas. That's the one. God, I forgot about that race weekend. It was so great, I didn't actually remember how it went. But that's not the point. The point is, we will soon be underway. The clock has just struck 8, which means it is not too long now until we head underway for our first race weekend of the evening, which, as you saw, is going to be in Abu Dhabi. And to kick things off, before I slap the music back on, it's both 35% races, firstly, just to clear that up. So it'll be some, I was going to say short, but it's not too short, but short and sweet, fun racing. Actually, you know what? I'll stop the music quickly because, okay, there was a bit of a brouhaha last week, a bit of tensions flaring over at times, and I would like to say that first and foremost, more apart from anything else, people do give up their Monday evening for this, and they have every right to be frustrated when things don't go their way. But secondly, and probably more importantly, we are a community league. So if you hear me commentating and you hear me going, oh, Thanassi's winning another race, what a surprise, don't take it too seriously, because it's a community league. And if I was doing that, that would be called bias in real Formula 1, and they don't appreciate that. Also, things like what opinion I have doesn't really matter. It's a community league. It's up to you to make your own opinion. But don't make opinions. It's a community league, stupid. So just sit there and watch some quality racing, okay? Good. And now that we've cleared that up, we can get on with a fun, and I repeat, fun, race weekend. First race of the evening, as you all know, because I've already said it twice, is in Abu Dhabi. And I'm going to actually kick off with what I was going to do, and that's a joke. So let's begin. My joke of the day. Why do people in Abu Dhabi like the Flintstones? Take some time, you might want to think about this. Well, it's because... What's the difference between Abu Dhabi... Oh, I've messed up the joke. It's a good thing it's a commentary and not a comedy bar. I'll give you another joke, though. Since it's to do with motoring and it has wheels. What do you call a nun in a wheelchair? That's right. Virgin Mobile. That's a sponsorship out of the window. Anyway, that's not... We're glossing over sponsorships here. Hello to the people that are joining in. Welcome along. I'm glad you missed that joke, or you probably heard it, in which case I was going to say jump out the window, but I'm on the bottom floor, so that doesn't really work. Anywho, Stay tuned, because soon enough, we'll be underway for our first race of the evening in Abu Dhabi. Ladies and gentlemen, we are off and underway. Spotify's officially sacked. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Abu Dhabi. The Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Of course, it happened just recently, yesterday in fact, catch up. But it was Max Verstappen that once again won. And who's surprised there, because I'm certainly not. What I am, one, surprised at, and two, very, very happy to see, is that, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in, God, crikey, about 5,700 years, we have a full grid of 20 drivers. And that is quite unbelievable. What's also unbelievable is I've forgotten to turn my sound up and I look like a clot. But now we've fixed that skill issue, we're back, and now we can hear sound. So as you can see, these, well, I can't, English clearly was a secondary language when God programmed me. Look, in Ferrari, we have two, everyone has two drivers, but Maximus and Jay Lane are in the Ferrari, Giraffe and Slam in the Mercedes, Red Bull is Magico, and Big Sam, I lost him for a second, Big Sam as per Aston Martin, of course, your usual suspects, Captain Wilco and Stark. Let's hope Captain Wilco doesn't stick it into low range halfway through his qualifying lap. Williams has Guardian and Dirkleton, Haas, King Didi and Vulcan. AlphaTauri, the usual culprits, suspects, whatever. Thanassi and Buck 57, McLaren, Buck 20 and Milo. The big old Papaya Pros on the move, although they're not first in the Constructors, so it's a Papaya no. In Alpine, Mr. Panda is back and he's well and truly on a roll. Alongside him is Terziak. And in Alfa Romeo, we have Jamie Tarquin and Raiden. What a qualifying set out we have. And Aston Martin here going to show us some A-class teamwork. As we all know, that's exactly how it went in Canada. And I had a great time watching that. But let's hope they get it all together this time around. Wilco and Stark actually first on the track this time. For once, Dirk is actually nowhere near the front. He's in fact the 6th car out on track. So I have to revoke my previous statement. Maybe he's not the keen bean I thought he was. Good lord. Of course, this Abu Dhabi layout, used for the first time in 2021 when... Well, let's not talk about it. Let's actually consider the previous 2 years where actually overtaking has still proved, in Formula 1 at least, to be pretty difficult. Round that left-hander now, which used to be a clunky chicane at the beginning of Sector 3. Round the outside doesn't really work, but Stark, I'm sure, can make it work absolutely brilliantly. So let's see what he does. Let's not see what he does. Let's see what he does. Round turn 1 he went, and he clearly got through it cleanly. No red, which means it's all green and all go. And in Aston Martin, that is extremely convenient. Down towards this corner. Reprofiled purple sector 1 because he's the only one to have done it. But this corner reprofiled. A clunky chicane before that hairpin previously. Now they opened it out. Can be an overtaking zone. But then this straight, DRS central. And you don't want to be flaunting with the potential of not having DRS as something's gone wrong with a Williams car. Dirk actually with a bit of a problem. And the problem is he's had tyre and skill issues. Barrier has been met. Giving him a slap across the chops. His tyres are hotter than Mount Vesuvius. That's probably not very sensitive, but through into the left-hander, Stark has been very sensitive on his tyres because they are still fighting fit and well. Using not much of the curb on the outside, still plenty of time to find, but a clean lap is what is needed here. Don't flirt with the track limits, and you'll be paid handsomely with a nice shot of Tactical Nuclear Penguin at the end. Not that they do that in shots because it's a beer. That was very close to the white line, though, I'll tell you what. He's really packing the punches today, is Stark, as through the final corner, our first lap in qualifying, and it is a 1:24.1. That is the gauntlet for everybody else to beat. What can Wilco do? Through the final corner he goes. He goes over half a second faster as Buck 20 splits the Aston Martin pair. Now the times will flood in. Big Sam there goes up to 4th. Were 2 Mercedes out on track, but now they've both come into the pit, so it's Milo who crosses the line next. Goes up to P2, only 2 temps behind Captain Wilco. Definitely found his high range as Magico moves up into 4th. Lovely little lap there from the Red Bull Maestro. My dear husband. Mr. Panda, I told you he was on a roll, but he's on the move. Vulcan goes briefly into P7. Panda's not going to move from P10, so Vulcan will stay P7 as Williams crosses the line. Guardian to start his lap, as well as the Alpine once again, after track limits were, well, overextended, to be quite nice. J-Lane moves up into 6th, meanwhile. His first lap in the Ferrari, still sporting the Las Vegas livery. Has King Didi not too far behind Big Sam, so the times are flooding in now. Let's see what Maximus can do. Nothing, because the track is red, just like his car, which in most cases would be a good omen, but unfortunately that means he has to go again here and go on second-hand tyres. And if he does track limits again, then, well, his tyres might contract a disease after how many hands they've been passed through. But let's hope that's not the case. Terziak's not wasting any time, though. He's straight out onto the track. Round the final corner he goes. And across the line he'll go. That somehow wasn't track limits, but it is! Easily the fastest lap of the session so far. 6 temps put on the head top of his nearest competitor, Captain Wilco. Terziak chasing the championship lead and going for glory, and he is not going to let that opportunity slide in any way, shape or form. He absolutely slaloms his way into P1. Excellent lap there. But it's not that impressive. I did a 122.9 the other day, actually. It wasn't a maxed out My Team car, but... Shut up. What's Maximus up to? Let's find out. The answer is Panda and Guardian have crossed the line to collect P13 and P12 respectively, as J-Lane, on a second lap on those tyres, goes up to P3, finds the time at 1 minute 23.6. That's mightily impressive there. Firmly, with a spring in his step, a firm gallop, as Jamie Tarquin is now on the move in the Alfa Romeo. Was on the move, isn't anymore. Let's go back to Maximus. Has he maximised the lap? He's only maximised it to P11, so realistically there is more time to find. Slam behind him starts his first qualifying lap. His first time lap, hopefully, of the day. Meanwhile, Thanassi going round the left-hander. It's Buck 57 that moves himself up to P3, though. A neat little time from Thanassi's teammate. English is just eluding me today, I apologise, but through, round this section, underneath the hotel, underneath saying the world's most efficient engine, but it isn't the world's most impressive engine. If you want impressive, the Lexus LFA engine makes your eardrums cry, and that is saying something. Through the final corner comes Thanassi, and it will not be even close to pole position. 7/10 off Terziak, my word. Terziak sets a leviathan of a lap time for everyone else to try and face. Thanassi, and everyone else for that matter, has no answer at all. Panda Man goes on lap again, and he rolls his way up into P11. He's really bamboozled the opposition there. I'll quit while I'm ahead, I'm so sorry. Tarquin across the line, and he invalidated his time anyway, but this surely will be his representative time. The battery is not showing itself to be deploying. I have no idea why. Perhaps it's because it's a heavily deploying track. I have no idea. Or maybe he knows where to find the time. So actually, he's just coasting. Who even knows? Slam moves himself up into P9 though. And the thing I was going to say is that Slam actually was supposed, well, at first, provisionally had a qualifying ban. After what happened in Vegas, after we watched what happened in the sprint race, where he tobogganed about 65 drivers, he was supposed to have a qualifying ban, but it later turned into not the amount of penalty points he needed to be given a qualifying ban. His teammate Giraffe moves into P13, but Slam is able to participate in qualifying, which is exactly what he wanted to happen, because now he's in P9 in the top half of the standings so far. Looks like Thanassi, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, he is. Possibly going for another lap. I have no idea if his battery is deploying. If it is, it ain't showing me. Look at how close the gaps are, by the way, while we're waiting for the Alfa Romeos and Dirk to set his first representative lap time of the session. Here he comes across the line. It's 126.8. Not an ideal scenario, but, you know, there's time to find. It's crucial. There is room for improvement. Good work. Meanwhile, Jamie Tarquin does get an official lap on the board, even though he didn't use any ERS whatsoever. A 1 minute 24.2 without any ERS puts himself into P13. And if that was without any battery consumption, well, what kind of ominous wind will sweep over the opposition as he goes a 10th quicker in Sector 1 already, despite not using, again, any ERS. Very interesting stuff. Let's see what his teammate can do, though. Through the hotel section he goes. So the Mercedes stays out of the way. Luckily, he does. So well done to the Silver Arrow Maestro. Through the final corner, missing the apex a bit, but carries the momentum nonetheless. Raiden across the line moves up to P18 for the time being. Williams, 19th and 20th. The series isn't supposed to emulate real life, but it's what's happening here. Especially what happened to Abu Dhabi for Williams this year. Could have choked it to AlphaTauri. Lots of lap time still flooding in, though. Wilco's out on a lap once again. Stark also on a lap. DRS wide open. His flap is deployed. Opening wider than... I don't think I can say that on Twitch or anywhere for that matter. So let's move on. Maximus has moved up to P10 and is still going like a stabbed rat. Bats out of hell don't even compare to how ferocious Maximus is pushing, even though he's 3 seconds down, so he's not. The McLarens probably are, though. Let's see where they are at. Buck 20 just starting his lap, which means Milo is going to be the next person to cross the line, and he's half a second up on his current time. Provisionally, we'll put him in P2, but that is providing he gets the last sector altogether. And as you know, I always seem to curse, but let's hope the Ferrari doesn't get in the way for the first part. He might well do. He's a bit lackadaisical. Miller has to awkwardly go around the outside. Doesn't look like it was massively affecting his lap time, though. So round the final corner, across the line, Miller goes easily into P2. 6.5 tenths worth of improvement. Stark and Wilco are P3 and 4 now. Fantastic stuff. Wilco's still on a lap, remember, but Stark puts himself into the top 3 with that lap. Fantastic stuff. Now it's Wilco's turn to go on the attack, and the shop man has indeed furloughed his attempts. That's probably not very nice if you're a Wilco or former Wilco employee, but that is what has happened. He was only 5 thousandths up on his lap, clearly deciding to wait until the track is at its very best. Buck 20, though, is surely going to be bringing the fizz in the Bucks department. His Buck counterpart, P5, actually. Across the line he goes. P3, McLaren 2 and 3 in this qualifying session. And that is much more like where they'd expect to be. Very nicely done. Thanassi, though, on another lap. Only 42 thousandths of a second up on his current time. So it's a little bit fleeting. Opportunities looking few and far between for the championship leader. And he'll surely be feeling the pressure after Terziak once again gained on him last week. Less so than usual. He's 2 tenths up on his current time, but he's going to need so much more than that, especially through this last sector. Let's ride on board with the man on top of the world currently. On top of the world last season, currently on top of the world this season, but needs to continue that feat with a good qualifying performance here. Needs to carry on as he would otherwise, which is hopefully in his case on pole position. Brake at the pit line, apex that corner wonderfully. It will not be pole again. Thanassi only into P5, and I say only as if that isn't still a bloody good lap from him. But even so, we know. I mean, I always set monumental expectations on Thanassi, but remember, qualifying is one thing, the race is truly another, and we've seen how ferocious his race pace is, so I'm sure he has a plan he's concocting in the cockpit of that car as I speak. His teammate, though, on the move. Sets a purple middle sector. Well, then, it looks like we've got a bit of heat coming on. Buck 20 just went up into P3. Perhaps Buck 57 is going to absolutely blow the big fish out of the water. The big fish being Mr. Terziak, as Big Sam's left the session in the fear, I suppose. I don't know, but whatever the case, through the final 2 corners comes the AlphaTauri man. Currently sits, I believe, 3rd in the championship. Across the line, it's provisional pole! My word! Look at that. If you needed proof on track evolution, there it is. Buck 57, fastest middle sector, fastest overall lap in this qualifying session. The man, the myth, the legend. He really has bought the fizz. He's ready and raring to explode here. And please don't stop that. That's disgusting. Put it away, man. I don't want to see that. Anyway, what else is happening? Well, Thanassi's into the pits. That's as much as we can read from that situation. Slam is just beginning his 2nd qualifying lap of this session. First few corners looked absolutely fine, but he's 2 seconds down, so he's saving his battery, perhaps doing another warm-up lap, and then going again. What that was his lap, I have no idea. There's a Haas on the move, though. Is it King DD? Yes, it is. DRS wide open as he heads down the Sector 1 straight. Jamie Tarquin on the lap as well, and he's in the last sector. 1.3 seconds up on his current lap. That is a 22.9. So I told you, without battery, that looked quite ominous. With battery, he's going to absolutely blow the fish out of the water by 3 tenths of a second. Jamie Tarquin's fished up a whole bluefin tuna. He's going to sell that for a few bob. Panda's retired? No. What on earth's happened there? I think he's gone into the pit lane, actually. And that is the end of his qualifying session. Unbelievably. Deciding that was it. Deciding that was the most he could do, perhaps. It's not like there wasn't time left. Still 3 minutes to go. Bunch of people starting laps, completing laps. I'm losing track of everything here. Ferrari's just started his, and it's J-Lane in the Ferrari. King Didi crosses the line, meanwhile. Doesn't improve. Well, doesn't improve position at least, but that is not an ideal scenario, as Wilco's going to cross the line right about now to start his qualifying lap on the fresh tyres. Jamie Tarquin, your current pole sitter then. The man at the top of the tower waiting to be toppled. Or at least that's the plan for everyone. Vulcan's in P10, by the way. Can I just say, unsung hero. He's quietly gone about his business and been putting in some good results so far. So don't sleep on him as Maximus goes up to P6. Very neat little lap there. Outlaps for the McLaren boys. Terziak will follow very soon. There's his Alpine dot. You can see it at the bottom right. There he is. Finally coming out of the pit lane to reclaim, or attempt to reclaim, his gauntlet of pole position. Ferrari man doesn't need to get out of the way. They are all on outlaps. Raiden still in the pit lane. Time to wait till the very last moment, perhaps, but if that's the case, he's missed his opportunity. His window has indeed closed. Dirkleton across the line. and will start, surely, his last qualifying lap of this entire session with a full battery, with tyres at their absolute premium. Williams aren't sponsored. I don't know who Williams is sponsored by. Golf. Fuel to the brim with Golf oil. Hopefully it won't explode and his chances won't dissolve into despair, but through the hairpin so far, looks to be a clean first sector, and long may it continue for him. Wilco into P6 though, still with that lap, unable to capitalise hugely. Both McLaren still ahead, Terziak still ahead as King Didi retires from the session in the pit lane. Here comes Vulcan round the final corner, and Mercedes doing so. Giraffe into P11. Vulcan starting yet another lap. As through turn 1 he goes. There's the Alpine of Terziak going through for his final flying lap of the session. And now things start to get into the casserole region. Both AlphaTauris coming through the final sector. The Aston Martin of Stark coming through the final sector. Just over half a minute of track time left for people to get over the line and start that final flying lap. Get on with it, boys. Don't waste any time out there, as Dirkleton will be the first, 1.9 seconds up, so that will put him, well, within the regions of P15 and 16 currently, but a good final sector could change all that. As round the final corner, a bit of a twitch on the rear end, but up to P15 he goes. Guardian across the line, up to only P19 for him. 1 position gained. How about Magico? What can he do? Oh dear! What on earth's happened there? That's Stark, that surely is Stark, it's his Stark! Goes into the wall, front wing gone! And what on earth has gone on there? I have no idea if there were any cars ahead of him or if he just made a mistake on his own, but it's disaster for him. But now we have to watch what everyone else can do, what they can muster up. J-Lane moves up into P7 in the Ferrari car. Thanassi's just set a purple sector too. Half a second up on his time. But he needs so much more than that. He needs half a second in just the final sector. And that is a tall, tall order. Terziak round the final corner. Can't get pole. Does improve. Only up to P2 though. Buck 20 up to P4. Millo's aborted his lap. That's the end of his qualifying. Buck 57's going to come through. Thanassi does it. Unbelievable. Where can Buck 57 go? Into P3 for the AlphaTauri driver. As I go and look at the scenery, apparently. I'm not here for an episode of Desert Watch. But my goodness me, he's done it again. The bloody tough nutter. The championship king. Crowned by the deities of Formula 1. He's done it again. He's bloody done it. Pole position by exactly 0.2 of a second to the T. Thanassi, the championship leader. It all looked like it was going pear-shaped. But he took that pair, made it square, and settled the score big time. Fantastic final flying lap from Thanassi. It's another pole position in Blackout Season 2, and he is back at the front in qualifying. Immense effort once again, as it always is from the championship leader. But none more so than here. Look, down and out. 1 minute 23.5. Had 1.2 seconds to find on Jamie Tarquin. And did just that. AlphaTauri jumping for joy. 1 and 3 for the Italian-based team. Jamie Tarquin splits the pair of them. Kudos to him. A great effort in this qualifying session. Terziak, though, not too far behind this battle. McLaren 5 and 6 with Buck 20 leading the line. Wilco 7th. With J-Lane and Maximus 8th and 9th. Stark completes the top 10 despite having a nose problem, needing a nose job, really. Slam and Giraffe, P11 and 12. Then it's Vulcan, Magico, Dirkleton, Panda, Didi, Sam, Guardian, Raiden. And there's your running order. I hope that cleared it up for you. Well then, qualifying went down to the wire. And those wires are going to start fraying now because it's race time and things are going to get a little bit interesting, a little bit zesty, a bit spicy. That's right. Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And I'm going to tell my joke again because no one was here for it. What's the difference between Abu Dhabi and Dubai? Take some time to think about this. Well, have you guessed yet? Well, people in Dubai don't like the Flintstones, but Abu Dhabi do. There's your pause for laughter. And now we get back to the regular programme. In front of my husband's garage, there's Magico, number 34. with the Reader's Digest clan. I never knew that a literary organisation was so good at Formula 1, but there you go. Like, I'm not biased. Just to be quite clear, I'm not a biased commentator. Stop that right now. But the big story is Thanassi on pole position, but 35% race, potential for safety cars, potential for drama. There always is at Abu Dhabi, somewhere down the line. Anything could happen, really. You don't really want to take any chances. But we'll find out whose boldness pays off best. 5 red lights. Lights out and away we go, and it is a good start for Thanassi. Jamie Tarquin though with a better start. Down the inside he goes. Unlike Verstappen, Thanassi tries to hold it round the outside. Can't get it done at turn 1, and it's going to be side by side all the way down there. What's happened? King Dini's round. There's been some kind of contact, but we're looking at the front here. The Alfa Romeo versus the Alfa Tauri. Jamie Tarquin surely has it. He does have the lead, but what an exit from Thanassi, although he skates over the curb. Lots of battling happening behind. Dirk side by side with Magico. And now it's a slipstream fest all the way to the next corner. Thanassi to the inside, into the chicane. Brake as late as you dare, lad. And he might have overcooked it a bit. He has. And this gives an opportunity to Jamie Tarquin. A fantastic exit. And look at that. Jamie Tarquin with a slingshot. Thanassi forces him to the outside. Using a bit of battery, but it's futile fighting it this much, surely. Yes, it is. No, trying to go around the outside. You have to be bold to do that one. Surely not. He's bloody done it. What a move there from Jamie Tarquin. It's not over until it's over. He was not out for the count. He got up and came back swinging, and boy, did he have an answer to Thanassi's questions. My word, what a start to this race. Lap 1 out of 20, and I'm already finding myself trying to catch my breath. Jamie Tarquin, though, is only catching W's, leading by half a second. Buck 57 losing grip of the front 2, and it's Terziak who will be piling on the pressure, on those mediums no less. Buck 57 on the hards. Why? I think you've lost this race, my friend. I'm sorry. To the inside goes Terziak, already not wasting any time getting down the inside and trying to make the move, and he's done it into P3. Can't waste any time behind the Alfa Tauri man if he wants to lose as little as possible to the man ahead of him. Thanassi, look how hard Terziak is defending the inside, and Buck 57 tries to ski his way around the outside. A big squeeze from Terziak, but it does the job. Buck 57 has to skip over the chicane though. It didn't look like he was left much room. Perhaps he was also avoiding the contact, but he lets Terziak go there. And maybe the stewards will look favourably there. That looked almost very, very interesting. J-Lane round the outside of not 1, but possibly 2 cars. A bit of contact with Buck 57. The Ferrari man to the inside, though. And that could get grisly. Careful, Jens. Don't do it. Buck 57 just about holds position. But great racing. And it's only lap 2 of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Buck 20's now back on the move. I can hardly keep up with all the goings on. Look how late he brakes in comparison to J-Lane. This battle is far from over, and his McLaren teammate's going to get close and personal. But Stark on the move now, trying to get past Giraffe. And round the outside he tries to go. Round the outside he does go. Fantastic. I'm wide awake now. This race is hotting up and I'm loving it. DRS enabled though. And Thanassi took an interesting line into that corner. I have no doubt to get the DRS and not have Jamie Tarquin escape out of that race. But look how quickly he's closing in with the DRS. Could think about making the move here, but wisely decides to hold back. A bit of a slide on the rear end. Bit of rotation being deployed through the rear of the car. Terziak catches up by half a second there. The gap from 2 seconds is eroded down. Jamie Tarquin's actually played this very well indeed. A perfect set of exits from the Alfa Romeo driver. Of course, back in F1 22, in the final full season on F1 22, a game that we hope stays in the doldrums. Buck 57, meanwhile, is going to get fizzed and rizzed up by his Buck counterpart. J-Lane into P4. Buck 20 trying to get up into P5. Buck 57 kind of defends fresh air there, really. Compromising his entries and exits all the way through this last section. But gets it back together. Keeps well within the slipstream range of J-Lane. So well done to him. Like I was saying, though, Jamie Tarquin The man Mountain out in front. Well, he was your winner in the last full season of F1 22 of Blackout. He was your winner of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and he's almost outside of a second suddenly. What is going on here? Jamie Tarquin, if you use a bit of battery, my friend, it could get you anywhere. Oh, no! J-Lane's out! What's happened there? I don't believe it! J-Lane out of this race, and he's on the left there. You can see, oh, no! Spins out of the left-hander! And a safety car here on lap number 4 of the Grand Prix. What on earth happened there? More often than not, it's actually contact that can exacerbate the issue. Either that or getting up on the curb too much. My apologies for not paying much attention to what actually transpired there, but doesn't matter really. It's no consolation as to whatever I think about who did what. At the end of the day, it doesn't change the fact that J-Lane is out of this race. Barrier and him, well, they tried to get it on, and Barrier said, no, take me to dinner first. Stuck the fork into his stomach, and that can only mean one thing. A small case of death. So lap number 4 then. Under safety car conditions here in Abu Dhabi. And a safety car in Abu Dhabi, it's not fond memories in the minds of many F1 fans. So I'll leave it there, actually. Into the pits comes Jamie Tarquin, comes Thanassi, comes Buck 57, comes Buck 20. Going straight away for the pit stop. Of course, they lose track position as Magico gets a 3-second time penalty. Oh dear. Chopping off that pit entry a bit too much, possibly. That was not very zesty at all, my dear husband. Jamie Tarquin, though, re-enters the track. Only 4 cars between him and the race lead. Onto the medium tyres he goes. Thanassi, I would assume, yes, also goes onto the medium tyres. Buck 20 onto hards. Buck 57 started on the hards, now can get onto those mediums and have a much, much nicer time of things once the safety car peels into the pits. Big Sam does not choose to come into the pits. In fact, he may well have already made a pit stop. So let's find out, everyone. Indeed, Big Sam has already made a stop. And out comes King Didi, the final man out on the track, but pretty much now everybody making a stop, apart from the front 4 in this race. So there we are. How about that? Abu Dhabi, of course. First raced here in 2009 in Formula 1. Who was the winner of the race that day? You betcha. Sebastian Vettel was the first ever Abu Dhabi Grand Prix winner. Also the second Abu Dhabi Grand Prix winner in, well, possibly the most important race of his Formula 1 career in 2010, which is a Fernando Alonso fan, emotionally damaged me. It still emotionally damaged me, actually. I can't go. Anyway, it was Ferrari's own fault and Red Bull's, well, Mark Webber's side of the garage's own fault. Thinking a 2-stop will be the quicker way, but without DRS was still not a thing back in 2010 without that extra assistance of flap deployment to give Ferrari and Red Bull that extra boost against the Renault of Vitaly Petrov, who himself is now a bit of a controversial don. But either way, they didn't have the pace or the straight line speed to overtake that Renault car. It was vital that they did in order to keep their championship hopes alive, but it meant all Alonso could settle for was P8. Vettel winning the race meant that Alonso, second in the championship, lost it by 4 points. Guttingly for him. However, I suspect not nearly as gutting as 2012, where in a vastly inferior car to the Red Bull, he did things that realistically should have been impossible, but he did them anyway. But it was no consolation. In the end, at the Brazilian Grand Prix, Vettel would win the championship there as well. In 2012, actually, in Abu Dhabi, Vettel went from the pit lane to the podium here. That was pretty bloody good, wasn't it? Yeah. Many the home of a championship win. 2014, Lewis Hamilton. 2016, Nico Rosberg. 2021, Lewis Hamilton. Oh. J-Lane says, doing my best Sainz impersonation. Oh, no. Well, you know what? Consolation, as Guardian's already retired from the race. I have no idea why. The safety car comes in this lap. Very nice indeed. Any consolation? It's not really a consolation, really, because you're out the race. But consolation is you did have a very good start to that race. And who likes Abu Dhabi anyway? Who really likes Abu Dhabi, honestly? Might be a fun track to drive, but who cares? Don't need it. Terziak, then, race leader, will control the pace of the field, of course. Technically speaking, a pit stop down on everybody else. And also, they have 4 lap fresher tyres than him. He's got 3 cars worth of blanket between himself, Jamie Tarquin and Thanassi, who are probably his main competitors for the day. But either way, it's a scenario where the odds are firmly stacked against the Alpine driver. But best believe he'll do everything in his power to try and nullify that issue. Gaseous gremlins happen to me as through the last corner. Terziak pulls the trigger, and we are back racing here in Blackout. Jamie Tarquin wasting absolutely no time trying to get past Vulcan. Vulcan goes extremely wide as Jamie Tarquin down the inside will get past the Haas car. Thanassi also gets through as Vulcan goes for a bit of sightseeing in Dubai in the meantime. And now the fight can begin between these two, and if that's the plan for Terziak, is the fact that he actually anticipates that these two are going to fight, it's not going to happen anymore because Thanassi got an absolutely terrible exit and now is nowhere near within having a whiff of trying to get past Jamie Tarquin. Buck 20 is the man on the move, meanwhile. Although Vulcan, late on the brakes as you dare, almost toboggans into the back of Thanassi. In fact, I think did hit him, because Thanassi goes extremely wide. The gap between him and Jamie Tarquin now 1.7 seconds. Buck 20's now going to try and pass the championship leader round the outside. Don't watch out for Stark, gents. He might try and have a whiff at that potential position. Could try and go down the inside of Buck 20. Almost has a chance to snap to the inside. My goodness me. Anyway, the onboard radios have been revealed. Milo and Terziak regret not coming in under that safety car. It's too late now. It's too late now. The jury is in. I'd be absolutely certain Vulcan has some kind of front wing damage as he's losing time hand over fist here. Doesn't look like there is any visually. What's happened there? Buck 57, no! Into the wall. A virtual safety car is deployed and Voldemort greets Buck 57 with open arms. Blackout, well, Mr. Guardian thinks Ericsson hit him. I think Ericsson might have hit Buck 57 as well. Although, again, I didn't see what on earth happened. But it's very rare to spin like that at that corner, so there is every chance he did actually get absolutely pile-drivered into that wall, which is not an ideal scenario. It's another pit stop the AlphaTauri man has to do, and after P3 in qualifying, it's completely nullified by the overwhelming fact of depression. He is now P18 and will be a virtual safety car's worth of pit stop. In fact, probably a normal pit stop because that front wing also has to be changed onto another set of medium tyres for the AlphaTauri man. And he's now sinking in the quicksand of Abu Dhabi. Surely the virtual safety car will be back in again soon. We'll find out. Hopefully no one speeds onto the Delta because that would be quite bad. That flash means something. I think it means it should be coming to an end if I'm not mistaken. Let's hope it is for the sake of the drivers. Let's see who makes the most of the Delta. When will it pull the trigger? Probably very soon. I wouldn't be surprised if it's into Sector 3. It's taking a very long time to end if that is exactly what it meant, but there you go. It is, in fact, away. There we go. Well, it might mean that. I'll never know, unfortunately. Terziak, Milo and Wilco, then Jamie Tarquin. Thanassi is second behind Jamie Tarquin, though. Has it all to do now after the contact, which was initiated by Vulcan, spearing into the diffuser of the AlphaTauri driver. Not an ideal scenario, but away they go again. It's this man trying to be on the move, though. Lots of people actually trying to find their groove. Giraffe putting the pressure on start. He himself is having pressure applied by Maximus. Vulcan's the man at the front of this massive train of cars. Dirk and Magico and co. All absolutely well within striking distance. They're going to launch at him like a viper. Jamie Tarquin, though, DRS is enabled on this lap. And Milo's through into the lead. Okay, then. Milo through into the lead of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The DRS train can begin. Giraffe Gets past Stark, down the inside he goes. Stark with a little switchback, and it means his exit is going to be vastly superior compared to the Mercedes driver. And he has DRS, of course. Stayed behind in the detection zone. Very intelligent plays from Stark. Round the outside, surely he'll try and outbrake Giraffe. And like a tactical nuclear penguin, Stark has plotted and exploded his way onto the scene. Up into P7. Fantastic stuff. Jamie Tarquin did get past Wilco meanwhile, so a car between him and Thanassi. That is all he needs to hear so far. F122, the last F122 Abu Dhabi, full season Abu Dhabi race winner, is on the move and looking to keep his crown firmly on his grasp and on his person in F123. Wilco down to P5 meanwhile. Still in this train, it's still Stark with those two cars behind him, Giraffe and Maximus, firmly applying that pressure as Raiden's into the pits. What on earth happened there? Don't tell me it's another Voldemort scenario. That'll be Heartbreak Central. And it looks like Stark was defending to the inside there for a brief moment. In fact, it might well have been Wilco as well. Both Aston Martins defending in tandem here. Slam looks like he could go for a move. Down the inside of Mr. Panda. And he does launch it. And it goes very nicely indeed. Easily done there. DRS now will be applied to both cars. Slam, of course, with the slipstream. But the Alpine driver with great straight line purchase. Bit across, of course, because the lane closes on that right-hand side. Panda way too late on the brakes, but still just about keeps it on the track. No, Slam with a bit of contact, though. It's getting a bit frosty as Jamie Tarquin tries to hold it around the outside of Thanassi. It's all getting very frosty up at the front. We've joined at the right time. Milo blocks the path of Jamie Tarquin. He'll have the inside into this section. No contact. Jamie Tarquin in the wall. Contact with the right rear of Thanassi. He does very well to get out of the way of everybody else. But disaster for Jamie Tarquin, who has to wait such a long time. That exacerbates the issue even further. Tried to hold it to the inside. Thanassi surely would have seen on the indicator. He was still partially alongside through a corner like that. I mean, you could probably afford to give a bit more room just to not shut the door too much. But then again, there was space still there. And a tightening of the line, I'd probably call that racing incident, but that's my opinion. They'll probably have differing opinions between the two of them. Thanassi though surely into the lead. Surely there's only one way the script ends. The championship leader claim pole position. Now is going to claim P1 surely with a bit of DRS flap deployment. He's easily through into P1 of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It's as textbook as you can get. It's a first-class paper handed into the FIA office. And on he goes. A great exit for him as well. Curtails the threat of DRS counter-attack from Milo. And in this dogfight, Thanassi gets a great treat because he's a very good boy. Pandaman, though, fighting his way with Magico. Look at that off-board shot. Vulcan goes a bit wide. It could be 3 wide into this hairpin. That would have been very, very interesting. A Slam goes round the outside of Magico. Catches him unawares. Look at this race. Oh, no! Massive problem for Vulcan. The contact there. And it's another safety car. I don't believe it. Side by side. We've seen that happen before. The evidence was there for Jamie Tarquin. It means now Terziak and co can have a free pit stop, which is great news for them. Disaster, though, for the Haas driver. At that set of corners once again as Buck 57 approaches it. We saw it firstly with Jamie Tarquin, and now Vulcan has had a consequence a million times worse. He is firmly out of this Grand Prix. Milo couldn't put into the pits in time. I don't believe it. Everyone almost coming into the pits. Terziak is somehow going to come out in P6. And crucially for him, on fresh softs. Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts, because this race just got very interesting. Well, I said Milo was a shot in the foot for him not to pit. However, it might not necessarily be the case because everyone still has to stick to a delta. So while the likes of Mr. Panda and Mr. Terziak and co come through here, yes, they've lost lesser time than they otherwise would. But crucially for them, they have to stick to that delta time until either the leader crosses the line or they cross the line. So it might not be all it's cracked up to be for the McLaren driver. Still a long way to go in this race. Buck 20 pitted for a second time, by the way, onto softs. So did Giraffe, so did Maximus. Stark onto mediums, Dirk onto medium. Slam onto mediums, Magico onto softs. A bunch of drivers making the most of having those fresher tyres. So now, we wait and see what Milo and co do. And Thanassi and Milo come into the pits. Okay then. Let's see what they're doing. Still sticking to the Delta for the time being. Into the pits come the two leading cars. And everyone will be on level pegging. Into the pits comes Big Sam, though. Terziak just has to wait agonisingly long before he can pull the trigger. Away he goes now. Now he has to really push it as much as he can to try and stay ahead, and I think he will. Pushing as hard as he can, he might well take the provisional lead of the race. It is his teammate Panda that's in the lead, but Terziak does get out ahead of Thanassi, crucially for him. Now McLaren 4-5 in this race. That's fantastic for them. Wilco now in 6th, Giraffe up into 7th place. My absolute hero. Longest neck on the grid. My computer's had a skill issue. Swat. Why? Stop. There we go. We are back. Like I was saying, Giraffe, my unsung hero. Longest neck on the grid and also biggest testicles on the grid. He's up in P7 and the lead Mercedes. Perhaps not the biggest testicles though, because with the grand... Shut up, you fat slob. Not as big cojones as Mr. Panda here though. Has rolled and rickrolled the rest of the grid because he's now leading the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It could have a part to play here as Terziak's teammate. Yes, he is a reserve teammate, but crucially still a teammate. And with Thanassi, the championship leader, lying in waiting behind Mr. Terziak, there's every chance Panda can give him some assistance here. Put up a bit of a stout defence. Do what Sergio Perez did in 2021, perhaps, through this last sector. Force Thanassi to try and make the overtakes, but actually there is no avenue to do so. How about that? How about that? So still plenty of dimensions to explore in this race. Buck 57 and Jamie Tarquin will actually make his way to the back of this queue. We've lost 3 drivers in this race so far. Vulcan we lost, he made contact once again, just like Jamie Tarquin did, hence why he's now in last of the running order. Because he clipped the right rear of Thanassi. Vulcan did the same thing, but with much more disastrous consequences. However, we know how aggressive Jamie Tarquin is. And I'm sure I have no doubt whatsoever he will try and muscle his way up the order as much as possible. But how much muscling do you end up going for? Because what are the limits? What are the limits between pushing it too hard and just being on the limit? That is the fine line these drivers have to walk, or, well, drive, to be honest with you. Your running order then. Mr. Panda, 2 Alpines, 1 and 2, with an AlphaTauri P3 of Thanassi, your championship leader. Buck 20 and Milo, 4 and 5, Wilco in 6th. And it has to creep in low range. Can my computer have a day off? Wilco in P6, and he's put it in low range because he's behind the safety car, which is a sensible thing to do. Giraffe in 7th, Maximus in 8th, Stark 9th, Dirkleton completes your top 10. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ladbrokes has spoken. I don't know why he's not called J Ladbrokes, really, but the bookie's new favourite for the win. It's Milo on fresh softs versus the rest of the grid. 5 laps of racing to come, 3 laps DRS. There is a hope and a dream. I would think Terziak or Thanassi is possibly the favourite. However, we've seen if you race too hard here, you get bit in the arm, and that hurts. And it's also not very hygienic, so don't do that. But Mr. Panda hasn't seen this sight before, I'm sure, but he has seen it now. No cars ahead of him, a clear track, and he pulls the trigger through the second to last corner, and away we go. for Blackout Racing once again here. Thanassi actually caught briefly unawares, and Terziak will not want to be held up by his teammate if he can avoid it. Through turn 1, there's actually a good turn 1 there from his teammate. Well, nullifies the issue as much as possible. Terziak will surely come steaming through, though. There'll be no defence, and there isn't any defence whatsoever. Down the inside goes Terziak into the lead of this Grand Prix. Now Mr. Panda just has to stay in his slipstream and is deploying God knows how much battery, but he's deploying all of it here. Thanassi's doing the same, though. Will try and go for the move into the chicane. And no, he won't go for the move, actually. He has to stick behind. Panda defends extremely well there, counteracting with the ERS usage. Thanassi stops his battery very early, and Panda can get away. And that means Sector 3 can get interesting. But 20's going to make it interesting, no. Round the outside, he tries to go off Thanassi. He's on the new softs. Can he get it done? Looks like he does. Yes, he does. Buck 20 into P3. Thanassi displaced. And now Buck 20 is going to go on the attack against Mr. Panda. Round the outside in Sector. Oh, no, Panda. He's out. He's out of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, but the racing will continue. No one hit him, please. That would be absolutely tragic. But it's the gift. It's the gift that Terziak needed. 2.5 seconds worth of gap, fastest lap to his name. It's the full complement of points. I do not believe it. Drama here, and it could give Terziak another win in the first race of the evening. Unbelievable. I'm not saying there was team tactics to deploy there as the contact that sent him spearing into the barrier. But Panda, in Terziak's case, it will definitely send him a Christmas card. He's done all the favours he could possibly do. J-Lane says he was murdered at the hands of Buck 20. There is your man, guilty as charged. And look at the trail of cars that are absolutely haunting him. That's the jury. They're going out for blood, just as Buck 20 did before. Panda is an endangered species, though. No, exactly. He's not rolling anymore. They don't see him rolling. They are, in fact, hating. Or rather, he's hating them, which is quite sad, really. But we have to look. Terziak at the front has it all to himself, so we watch the likes of Stark piling the pressure on Maximus. We watched Giraffe, who has a 3-second penalty, but managing almost to be within DRS of Wilco. That's quite unbelievable, isn't it? Oh no, Wilco! Into the wall! I don't believe it! Another spin into that section! Luckily for him, doesn't have his front right or front left shit off. Don't go too far that way, mate. You'll get disqualified. Oh no! Wilco disqualified from the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And that really represents it all. Quick as a flash. At the flick of a synapse. The flick of a switch. The dream can be done before you even know it. In Thanassi's case, the dream is still alive, though. Yes, he's got 2.8 seconds to the championship rival. But that was very interesting. I don't want to see that ever again. More swipes like that belong on Tinder. As through goes Thanassi, easy as you like. Milo, well, I'd hope he'd be let through, because surely he's the one on those soft tyres as well. He looks like he has good pace. Although Buck 20's on the soft as well. You know what? Forget what I'm saying. I don't know anything. Buck 20, though, has absolutely no battery. Absolutely none to fight with. So surely it's Milo who can try and go on the attack. Buck 20, though, keeps position. And could that be a nail in the coffin for the McLaren boys? Well, we're going to find out. Thanassi reduces that gap to 2 seconds, meanwhile. And perhaps the mediums are coming into somewhat of their own here in this final stint. Though not for long, because he lost a bit of time in that left-hander. But Terziak, all he needs to do, 1, keep it clean, and 2, keep the positions. Slam, meanwhile, makes a clean move into Sector 3. That's how it's done, boys. Into P8 goes the Mercedes man. No qualifying ban, and he's on the move. Jamie Tarquin, meanwhile, paying off handsomely here. Did he just go round the outside of Big Sam into the right-hander? You zesty man. Stop that right now. My voice has had a skill issue. I could try and keep it down, actually. I'm going to keep my excitement to a bare minimum. Hold on a second. Dirk's on the move. Trying to go round the outside. It was Magico that tried to make the move. Just enough space left. Jamie Tarquin thought an avenue was opening. That's not a word, but anyway. Tried to find an opportunity. Dirk actually holds back. so he can, in theory, get the DRS. He has indeed done that, so intelligent plays from him. But it means Jamie Tarquin is right on his 6. Why is it a 6? I don't know. Dirk might go for a banzai move. Jamie Tarquin was surely going to try and force him into one and compromise his exit. Indeed, he has done that. Very intelligent racecraft from Mr. Tarquin. He might be down in this race, but he's certainly not out. Giraffe's up to P5, meanwhile. This is the battle. Stark is pushed off the track. Oh, no, Stark! Out of this race! Crashes into the wall. Contact there with Giraffe. And no space was left on the outside, and it's cost Stark so dearly. He is out of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And now it's left for Maximus to try and find his way through. But it's a catastrophic circumstance. Giraffe goes so wide. Clearly has lost his composure and had no control into that left-hander. Stark with absolutely nowhere to go. And it's no consolation as to what my thought process or what decision I think would be made, because he's out of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And a late safety car in Abu Dhabi as Buck 20 goes for a little half spin, but luckily he finds his way, flips it the right direction and carries on his merry way. Watching the progress of Jamie Tarquin. I'm keeping a close eye on Thanassi's progress meanwhile. 1.5 seconds now the gap. As Dirk gets a very interesting exit and Jamie Tarquin follows suit by having a little shimmy. Stark with a sigh. That's all I can say too, honestly. That's all I can say too. Giraffe did come in like a tactical nuclear penguin, but forgot about the tactical and penguin bit and just was nuclear. It was going okay. It was going more than okay. I'd say P5 would be absolutely high-flying words. Tarquin still remaining in P10. There's a train now from Slam downwards, so P7 could be anyone's for the taking here. McLaren having a big duel meanwhile for 3rd and 4th. Millo's currently at the front of that as he has a bit of a slide. Not another one, surely. Don't deck it into the wall. We've seen far too many of those happening. As the final lap of the race begins. Jamie Tarquin with a 3-second time penalty, though. Oh, dear. Well, I mean, he won't lose any positions because, well, 1, he's not ahead of Dirk, and 2, King Didi is 5.3 seconds behind him and 5 seconds behind Big Sam, so really, it's absolutely fine. Terziak at the front, meanwhile, has that gap. 1.5 seconds the gap. He's deploying absolutely everything he has, so is Thanassi. Both fighting to the absolute bitter end. Both putting their cars on the ragged edge, as there could be a swap for the podium. But 20 has got absolutely no battery left, though. Absolutely none. We'll try and harvest a tiny bit. Try and find any kind of energy consumption. Actually gets a decent exit, though. The battle for P3 is surely not over. If Millo wants to keep it, he'll have to defend to the inside as harshly as possible. Will he do it? No, he won't. Could leave the door open, but no. No, McLaren deciding to play it safe in the end, it looks like. Big slide for Buck 20. Oh, no. Buck 20, another victim of the spin. Surely if he flips it around, resets it, he can get on the move. Giraffe and Maximus avoid him. And Maximus is up into P4 now. But we look ahead. And one man has been able to control it. One man had it all play into his hands. He didn't let that chance slip. Terziak wins the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Thanassi came so close, but made it into P2 in the end. Even when things didn't seem to go his way, it still somehow came together. And he still put up a very, very decent fight to the bitter end. Millo does claim the final podium position. Maximus 4th, Buck 20 actually only loses 1 position in the end because Giraffe, with the time penalties, finishes in 6th. What a lucrative race for Mercedes. 6th and 7th for the Brackley-based team. They'll be overjoyed with that result. Dirk in 8th, Magico ends up in 9th, but Big Sam, should I say, in 10th. Jamie Tarquin in 11th. In the end, it was a decent comeback, but time penalties and being stuck in that fighting pack is what cost him. And through no fault of his own, he just got absolutely ruined. The rest of the results were there for you to see. I've done 2 commentators' curses. I apologise if that was you I cursed. I honestly don't mean to. It seems like Abu Dhabi is a bit of a voodoo scenario for some people. Anywho, my God, that was quite something, wasn't it? Time to prepare for Hungary. Oh, yes. Good luck for Hungary. I hope it all goes very, very well indeed. I saw loads of you sweating out on time trial earlier, so I'm sure you'll all have a great time. Thank you very much, Jaylane. I do absolutely appreciate that. I really do. Terziak lifts the trophy high then. The crown prince of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix gains yet more points on Thanassi in the championship. And that's race 1 of the evening. What can race 2 have to offer? Well, a little insider info. Terziak is pretty bloody quick around Hungary. So that could get very spicy. Who knows what could happen there. Terziak with the win and fastest lap. It's the full 33-point compliment paid in his favour. Excellent from the Alpine driver. And the gap closes again. Thanassi in P2. Milo, great job from him to claim P3. Maximus, great result in P4. Buck 20, unlucky with the spin at the end, but still makes his way into P5. Giraffe and Slam 6th and 7th. Kudos to them. Dirk, kudos to him in P8. Magico, Red Bull with a double score, double top 10 for that matter. Then it's Jamie Tarquin, King DD, Raiden and Buck 57, the last of your runners. Stark, despite being decked into the wall through no fault of his own, actually still claims a point. Yay! Anyway, the rest of the order is Panda, Vulcan, Guardian, Jaylane and Wilco. And that concludes La Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. That was a bit chaotic, wasn't it? That was ridiculous, I'll be honest with you. Racecraft was very decent, apart from the points where it wasn't at times, but where it wasn't, the drama kicked in. And oh boy, did we have a bit of spicy drama heading our way. That was quite unbelievable, to be honest with you. And so, the big story. Terziak comes away with the win. The championship gap is closed. And that is really quite unbelievable, isn't it? What is the gap at the top of the standings then? Well. Let me find out for you. Because I have a visualized table of what the standings look like. On a web page near you, somewhere. If I can actually find it, that'll be an absolutely great start. But I can't find it. So that's a shame. I can tell you it wasn't much, though. The gap really wasn't much at all, in fact. Closed down significantly. If I do a full blackout. Aha! I learned how to use the search feature. Well, the gap previously was 33 points. That gap would now be reduced to 27 points. So, ladies and gentlemen, the championship hunt is well and truly on for Terziak. Thanassi, well, I'll be honest, I thought he'd be invincible. I thought he'd have it all his own way. And with that qualifying lap, there was every reason I thought that was the case. However, the script was ripped up, as it has been so many times. The fairy tale is not that simple. And so, Terziak finds himself in a very, very promising position. The championship lead is in his grasp. The battle for third isn't done by any stretch of the imagination either. Buck 57, Milo and Stark actually are well within each other's proximity. So, Milo leaps up to P3 after that result because the gap was 14 points. Buck 57 came 14th in the end, 2 points compared to Milo's however many more. Either way, the gap was so much so Milo jumps Buck 57. Stark, though, on the coattails, a little bit behind, but still not out of the question. That is the crucial thing. Well, there you go. I will leave you for a little bit then. What a crazy Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Racecraft was good until it wasn't at times. Where it wasn't, there was drama galore. There was murder. There was court cases. There are restraining orders now. Things are not happy in the House of Blackout. But in Hungary, I'm sure things will be a bit more tranquil. I have no doubt about that. We're going to take a little break then. Just so I can cool down after the craziness of the duels in the desert. Make sure you stay tuned, though. Next, we're up to the Hungarian Grand Prix. My voice is going to continue to have skill issues, so I'll get some water, hydrate myself with the blood plasma of Christ. Until then, have a nice little break. We'll be back in a few minutes' time for the Hungarian Grand Prix.
just brings me down. Go inside like winter leaves that slowly leave the ground. Hey, you come back, I wanna give you a chance. Love me like you used to, so we can learn again. The skin is getting brown, baby, drink your night away. Maybe we will not regret it, you will not regret me. Laying down under the sun, burning love cause we are young. No one tells us what's done wrong, cause it's just me and you. It's just me and you. Yeah, it's just me and you. Hold you on the ground, make your eyes roll out. Kiss me all around, baby, do you like the sound of my wasted love? Wasted love, of my wasted love. Hold you on the ground, make your eyes roll out. Kiss me all around, baby, do you like the sound of my wasted love? Wasted love, just of my wasted love. It's just me and you. Yeah, it's just me and you. Here we go.
Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Anyone peckish? Because we're in Hungary. How about that? Qualifying time for the Hungarian Grand Prix, and only 19 are here for this second race of the evening. And we now have a 20th person. Who's just joined in that wasn't here before, huh? Hold up. Who was it? No, I won't make you own up then. But here we are. Qualifying at the Hungaro Ring for the Hungarian Grand Prix in Hungary. Shock. Out onto the track first then. It's actually Mr. Panda. Look at that. And then Wilco will follow suit very shortly. Out onto the track we go though. I did manage to commentate this race last season. Thanassi and Terziak, they fought tooth and nail in that race. However, it was one Alfa Romeo that won that race. Rye Crow, that won the Hungarian Grand Prix on a one-stop, no less. As the two of them fought it out, almost his plans were thwarted by a lackadaisical Alpine on the apex that day, being lapped. However, that did not adversely affect his result, and he won the Hungarian Grand Prix after a great British Grand Prix on that same week. Right, what's happened? Why has one gone straight on? Oh dear. King Didi, there's no other word for it, has penetrated the barrier. The barrier didn't appreciate. Actually, Barrier, oh no, Barrier is not. He's not a fan of that. He's not a fan of that kind of thing on Mondays anyway. I don't know about the rest of his week. He's quite a saucy boy. But in this case, no, didn't want it. Slapped up the man. Exactly right, I've just hit the UI. We're back. The UI's not hidden, I'm saved. For some reason, it's not saying outlap on Big Sam's indicator. I have no idea why, but he is on an outlap. So as the timing screen has a skill issue, we go to Mr. Panda for a first lap of the Hungarian Grand Prix track. Down towards turn one, break in between the 150-meter boards, pinch it into the apex, and he does that very well indeed. Looks like he's running on controller, the little minx. But he's done very well with that. Oh, not again. Oh, for God's sake. My game's crashed. This time my game has actually crashed. My game has actually... Oh. Everyone's game's dead. Right. Well, King Didi might have been out of qualifying, but it turns out everyone else has crashed. So that's not... Okay, that's not an ideal situation, to be honest with you. You'll hear the sounds of the game launching into life. Thank you, EA Sports and Codemasters, for a very functional game. Hopefully we won't have a scenario where I have to make up my own results for Hungary. Otherwise, I might cry. So I won't cry. I had great fun doing that last time. But it's certainly something I might have to consider. Everyone's piling their way onto F123 again. Perhaps that's Codemasters' way of trying to get a patch in. However, it hasn't worked. We need a drinking game. What drinking game is that? Take a shot for how many bugs are in F123. Mate, you'll be flattened. I will buy you a special crate of Tactical Nuclear Penguin. Down your drink if the game crashes the lobby. Well, that's one Tactical Nuclear Penguin engulfed. So that's great news, isn't it? For those of you asking, whether you're watching this on Twitch or on YouTube, why don't you drive for once? Did you see my one lap at Monaco? I almost ruined Wilco's race. My front right went up to 40% in one corner because I grazed the barrier. It takes talent or stupidity to do that, and I had both in abundance that day. So, what can you do? What can you actually do? For context, me, Stark, Wilco, and Magico ended up somehow, after last week's set of races, talking about beer. Found the best named beer of all time. They were released at £35, what, for some nuclear penguins? £35 a bottle. The nuclear penguin. It's rather an elusive character. Into the lobby we go once again then. And so we are here again. I might just stay here and pick a car and see what they say. Pick a car that no one expects. Although there's 20 drivers today, so it probably won't happen. But you know what? At least the game crashed for everyone. And at least, it happened in qualifying. What is this? Guardian go by. We'll watch that later together as the F1 stewards. Then another 250 were released at £250 a bottle. I mean, I understand why. If you want to have a beer called Tactical Nuclear Penguin, of course you would buy it for £250. But even so, that is quite steep. Into lobby we go then. And we wait patiently. We wait very patiently indeed for qualifying to get underway as everyone starts joining in again. Luckily, my screen was on standby anyway, so it's okay. I knew what I was doing. So that's good. I clearly preempted that particular issue. Oh no, I think I put it on after my game crashed, didn't I? Oh, I'm just on autopilot. I'm just good at this. Anyway, Tactical Nuclear Penguin is very expensive. If you want to buy the beer with the best name in the world, you can for the reasonable price of your arm. I'm also in a Discord channel if anyone wants to have a spicy conversation before the race starts, although they'll probably want to psych themselves up, and I'll do completely the opposite of that. So let's not do that. Instead, let's put some music on, and let's just wait up. Got some NCS music here. Retrovision Campfire. There's 20 have picked cars, so now I have to go and spectate. There we go. I was the 20th man. I could have actually done it. I don't believe it. What car could I have been in? I'm going to check for you, ladies and gentlemen at home. Haas, no. McLaren, no. Aston Martin, no. Mercedes, no. Alfa Romeo, no. Ferrari, no. Alpine, no. I'd be pretty... Oh, Alpine. I could have driven for Alpine. How about that? Spec Plus. I'm in spec. Yeah, I am in spec. Good. Spectate Hun. Bro, Big Sam called me Hun. Hey, Magico, you going to take that? You going to take that? Defend me, I can't speak. Defend me, husband, please. They're a zesty lot, the Blackout crew. Anyway, back onto F1 23 we go. There are 20 drivers, and so, once again, we will go again for qualifying at the Hungaroring. It'll be another 35% race after this, just to clarify. 25 laps of the Hungarian Grand Prix once qualifying is said and done. Although if the game continues its current form, then we might not bother, but hopefully it doesn't come to that. Although it'll be another race where the race results dictate, otherwise, that Magico will have won the race. I don't make the rules. The race results are as I saw them on screen. There is no bias. No bias or any witchcraft involved. Let's clear that up right away. So much grit on my microphone. You see me scratching my microphone. Trying to get whatever that is off. How's that even possible? There's loads of dust and grit and disgusting. Anyway, that's not important. The point is the F1 lobby is back and we are squeaky clean as we return like nothing ever happened to the Hungaroring in Hungary for the Hungarian Grand Prix, which is in Hungary, in Europe, in Hungary. Are they really? Is that so? Well, that's great anyway. Let's get going with qualifying once again then. And this time it will be the Capitan that gets out onto the track first. I once again have to do all this. But away we go for qualifying once again, although Mr. Panda Man is right behind him. So the battle on track begins already, and it's not even out of the pit lane yet. King Didi went straight on into the barrier in the last time we tried qualifying. Maybe that's what made the game crash because, well, I mean, no one could possibly spear straight ahead for no reason, right? Oh, dear. What's happened? Dirk with another spin and on intermediates again. Well, you thought he would have learned and brought the intuition from Abu Dhabi that perhaps going out on the intermediates was a bad idea. But unfortunately, he has not heeded that previous lesson learned. And he's having another slide out of that corner, pushing very hard on his intermediate tyres. That is not ideal at all. Almost everybody out on an outlap. Just Guardian, Jamie Tarquin and Thanassi yet to bite the bullet and come out onto the track. Hungary, more like a go-kart. Well, one of the go-kart tracks of Formula 1, really. Got to be so careful, though. Traffic can creep up at you and nip at your heels at any time. If I get another notification saying there's a sale for some stupid... Oh, nice tree. Here's Wilco, though. I didn't finish what I was saying there because it wouldn't have been safe for the internet. So let's carry on. Here comes Captain Wilco for a lap of the Hungary. No histrionics, no misdemeanors, only two people now in the pit lane as Wilco pinches the apex, plants on the power as his car's in a straight line. Maximus now out of this qualifying session. What on earth's gone on there? I would have looked to King Didi or Vulcan. There he is on the right. What's happened there? He's in the middle of the road. What happened there? Did he must have made contact with the inside wall, but it's a terrible scenario for Maximus. Meanwhile, let's see what Wilco's up to. Cascading up the hill, brake when the curb starts for the chicane. Use a bit of curb on that first one, and a bit less on that second one, and that Williams gets firmly out of the way, so congratulations to Guardian for not getting himself a penalty. Through this fast-flowing section, flick it into the right. Not using too much of the curb, though. Bit of time to find here in the Hungaro ring. Mr. Panda is behind him. Panda could thwart his opportunity. Rolling the punches, rolling with the punches. Panda's just rolling, let's be honest. But through the final corner goes Captain Wilco. Laid off a lot of people recently. They're very sad. Maybe this will boost morale. And it's P1. 1 minute 17.2, but he's the only one to have gone. What does Mr. Panda do? A 118.0. McLaren across the line. Buck 20. Half a tenth off in P2. Very close quarter stuff indeed. Big Sam into third place briefly. Stays there because Giraffe goes up to P4, just beating Mr. Panda. Slam across the line to start his first flying lap. Milo goes across the line and goes fastest. 4/10 of a second. On top of what Wilco did. Very nicely done, I must say. As now Magico crosses the line into P7 briefly before being ducked down to P8. Buck 57 into P... Well, what was 4, but Starks come through with a 1:17.0 for P2. Slam up into P7, hardly off Big Sam's time. The times are tumbling and the pressure is on. Terziak across the line. It was Terziak, but the answer is he did a slow lap and is now going again here through turn number 1. Raiden crosses the line and goes into P12. The KarlsCars King Didi, 1 minute 19.2. Vulcan starting another lap. It's all happening here at the Hungaro ring. Only 3 people now in the pits. J-Lane, Dirk and Thanassi. There's Jamie Tarquin on that lap. Guardian just about to complete his lap, it looks like. Oh my god! Massive slide! Guardian's out of qualifying! Oh no! As soon as I hosed my focus onto the Williams driver, he got a massive snap of oversteer. Couldn't catch it. Planted on the power. And it's cost him dear. So dear. And he Scandinavian flicks his way into barrier. Gives him a slap across the chops and says, "You naughty Don." Here comes Jamie Tarquin, though, for a lap. Around the final corner he goes, and then before you know it, Terziak's almost at the end of the lap. I was two purples on second push, and then a wild Panda blocked me. Oh dear. Oh dear, the stewards won't look favourably on that. Terziak, though, goes fastest by half a second. My word. The momentum from Abu Dhabi continues then. And the push keeps on mounting. The pressure builds. He's applying so much of it. The hydraulic press can't even compare to Terziak's absolute majesty. As into P1 he goes. Half a second is the gap. And Aston Martin have Stark out here for another lap. Flicks it in there. No idea if it's new tyres, but he's up on his Sector 1 time so far, which is great news for him. Let's see what Mr. J-Lane's doing. The answer is he's completing an outlap. Buck 57 meanwhile. Pushing on. To the right-hander he goes. Into the left. Because that's what tracks do. Round and round he goes into the final corner. He will complete this lap. And perhaps it is an improvement on the 1 minute 17.3 he had previously. And if that's the case, he'll be laughing. Into P2 he goes. But Jamie Tarquin takes that straight away. Only 400ths between him and Terziak. Qualifying just got a bit more zesty. A good representation of what the pace of that Alfa Romeo car is up to. Jamie Tarquin immediately mounting a charge onto Terziak. That's quite unbelievable. My goodness me. However, we're yet to see what Thanassi can do. J-Lane, of course, and Dirk on laps as well through Sector 2. J-Lane's fastest through Sector 2. Hello. That's got very interesting. Guardian and Maximus, of course, both out of this session. They're going to be starting second, last, and last. My word. So through into the final corner goes Mr. J-Lane to displace yet more of Maximus and Guardian's positions. P6 for J-Lane. That's excellent. What can Dirk do behind? He's into P8. Very neat lap times from both of them. Both in the same 1 minute 17.2 bracket. In J-Lane's case, though, he has the slightly superior time. Giraffe on another lap, meanwhile. Stark's lap amounted to a 1 minute 17.0. It's actually his lap he had before, so it didn't amount to anything. Is the answer to that question. Wilco on an outlap, though. He's just behind Giraffe on the track map. You can see him there going through the right and now the left-hander. Giraffe preparing very slowly indeed. Clearly not happy with that lap. Gets well out of the way. Decides to stick behind Mr. Captain Wilco and is clear away from one of the Red Bulls. And the answer is it's Mr. Big... It's not Big Sam, it's Magico. Well, at least Giraffe staying well out of the way. Kudos to him for that. Miller on an outlap as well. Is anyone actually doing a lap here? Wilco's just started his. That's good news. Actually, we can watch Big Sam do it because I believe he's one of the first to cross the line and actually set a lap time on this lap. That's very wide. The stewards, however, forgot their guide dogs. So he's absolutely fine and it's all okay, but not happy with that time. He slows down to almost a standstill and he'll charge up the battery a tiny bit and go again, or quite even possibly just come into the pits, which also wouldn't surprise me. Turns out he will charge it up. I've lost the timing screens. We're back. Big Sam through the final corner, and away he will go once again. But it's Mr. Panda on an outlap, and then behind him, well, Thanassi's on an outlap. So let's see what kind of gauntlet he can set down. Through the DRS. DRS wide open, and into turn 1 he'll go. We'll stay on board for the entire lap here, while I watch the timing screens do their thing through the first corner. Very nice and clean for Thanassi as he plants on the power and then has to flick it into that left-hander, try and pinch it into the apex a little bit wide, but you can crucially carry that momentum a bit. J-Lane's in P3. Sorry, where did that come from? That's unbelievable from him. My word, as Milo into P6, Wilco is into P5. That's incredible. My goodness me. Milo's still on a flying lap, so there's every chance he goes through and improves his time. Into P4 he goes. The time's coming down thick and fast. Watching Thanassi, though, flicking it through. But not happy because he's invalidated his lap time. And so it is no dog biscuits in this case for the Greyhound. Who else is on a lap meanwhile? Well, Magico's on a lap. Sam's just come into the pits. Through the right-hander goes my husband. Look at him, the zesty Don. So he's charging up the battery here. He's hardly even pushing. So, So it doesn't look like he'll be completing this lap. That would be my assumption. But anyway, Thanassi will go again. He's just gone through turn number 1. We'll watch his first sector split to see if it is an improvement. Buck 20. Also on a lap and going like a bow of hell. Blasting the rear tyres into the furnace with that one. They'll need a bit of resuscitation throughout the latter stages of the lap, quite possibly. What did Thanassi do? Yes, it was a purple sector 1. And now the championship leader is cooking. There is potential for 1 minute 15s here. I'd be pretty confident of that. But let's see if he can achieve that. Mr. Panda, though, through the left-hander and now through the right he goes. Keeps it within the track limits just about. Very nicely done indeed, but he is 2.3 seconds down on his fastest time so far. So it'll probably be a return to the pits for the French team driver. Meanwhile, behind him, here is Buck 57. No, it's not. Thanassi's already completed his lap. What an absolute zesty boy. Across the line he goes. And there's the 115. I told you it'd be coming soon. And boy, has he obliterated that. 4 attempts clear of the rest of the pack for the time being. A 1 minute 15.971. Now it's up to everyone else to try and respond. Oh, Terziak's responded. There you go then. These scripts really write themselves, don't they? Terziak, now, absolutely, a 10th and a half ahead. Fantastic stuff. Look at that. Qualifying just got a little bit more spicy. Only 5 minutes to go as well. Jamie Tarquin was on a lap, but has invalidated it. Was also 2 tenths up. So would have been within a shout and a whiff of getting into the top 2, but nothing doing there. Into the pits he saunters in as the team will scream at him, what on earth were you doing? On Mercedes to cross the line, it's Giraffe to start a flying lap. Buck 20 also on a flying lap currently. 2 tenths down on what he's done so far. That is not an ideal scenario whatsoever. He's now only 5 thousandths down apparently on his time because he's gone purple in Sector 2. Perhaps Sector 3, though, will yield something brilliant. He did meet a wild panda in Sector 3, so he told me. But meeting the panda in this case didn't happen, and still he decides that is not enough. Pit assist enables himself, and into the pits comes Mr. Buck 20. Stark improved to P7 that lap time, by the way, so kudos to him. Finding time at every nook and cranny of the Hungaroring circuit. Magico on an outlap, meanwhile Big Sam, Slam, King Didi on outlaps as well. It's Giraffe who will cross the line next to actually complete a lap time, crucially. Currently 2 tenths up on his time. That'll put him in 11th place, but last sector I'm absolutely confident there will be time on the table there. If I didn't stammer, that would help, to be honest with you. Almost making his way into the pit lane. He's so much in the exit, but it's absolutely wonderful stuff. Seeing the car push to the absolute limit. Giraffe across the line, and he's up into P11. There you go then, just as I predicted. 4.4 tenths up on his previous time, and he finds himself firmly just on the fringes of the top 10. Now, if he really gets on, actually, if he just disconnects from the lobby, his car will go back into the pits, then you reconnect, and then he can do another flying lap. Do it, Giraffe. Do it. You heard it here first. Anyway, let's see what everyone else can do. The answer is it's going to be Slam, who's going to be the next in the Mercedes boys to go. But it's a Red Bull of Magico to cross the line. It'll be Big Sam, the first of the lap times to tumble. He's he's done a purple Sector 2 as Big Sam. Sorry. An absolute zest machine there. Fruity boy as through the final 2 corners he goes. Little bit of understeer through the left-hander, through the right-hander, no such problems, no slide, no histrionics, across the line, P12 for Big Sam, very nice lap time, and a purple Sector 2 to boot, and you cannot turn your snout up at that. Slam meanwhile behind, let's see what he can do. 4 tenths up on his current time, let's see what he does across the line, P13 for Slam. Raiden says his pace is dog poo. Well, if you need any confidence boost ever, go to my YouTube channel, go to Monaco, see how I drove that 1 lap I did at Monaco in the race, where I wasn't supposed to, and then your confidence will be right back where it wants to be. Loads of drivers out onto the track now. 2 minutes to go in this session. Surely Terziak and Thanassi will exit the pit lane for their final runs in qualifying. But we'll have to find out. It's King Didi who will cross the line. 118.7. It's not nearly enough of an improvement. Magico up to P13, though, ahead of Slam. Red Bull in a meaty Mercedes sandwich there. But crucially, they're ahead of one of them and are going to pile the pressure on the other, which is great news for them. Let's see what other laps are going to come down then. I have no idea. Let's see what Giraffe does. He did a 2 minute 7.3. Are you driving an HGV? Disgraceful. Into turn 1. That's not very HGV-like. That's got too much downforce, but he does get it all together again. And away he goes. Vulcan on his outlap. Across the line he goes to start his surely final flying lap of this qualifying session. Slam could charge up the battery and go again, but he decides to peel into the pits. That is his qualifying done. Buck 20, that was close. Buck 20's on the move. His teammate's going to finish his outlap very, very shortly. A Ferrari finishing an outlap and Aston Martin. Both of them on flying laps. Let's see who it is. It's Wilco that's going to be the first Aston Martin. Round the final corner he goes to try and claim pole position or an improved grid slot from where he was before. He does do so, but it's only a position's worth of improvement just behind his teammate Stark. Meanwhile, Panda crosses the line, I believe that is. What does he do? It's not. It's Terziak. His final flying lap of the session begins now. Stark with his final flying lap. Doesn't do great, but he's charged up the battery all the way. And crucially for him, will have the track at its finest. Maybe his tyres are not at his finest, but perhaps that won't matter. Magico retires from the session because he is in the pit lane. And now we watch the times begin to tumble. King Didi across the line then, probably to start his final flying lap. Only 10 seconds to go now, as Thanassi will cross the line, start his final flying lap of the session. And Alfa Romeo will do the same with Jamie Tarquin. Vulcan across the line, only a 10th down on where he was before. That is his qualifying run. He cannot do another lap or try and improve his time. And now the times tumble. Milo will be first across the line, a 10th and a bit up on where he was before. The fight for P3 is certainly on for the McLaren man for the time being. But we know how quickly the track evolves, how quickly the times can tumble down. Milo across the line into P3 for the time being. Very nice indeed. J-Lane across the line. He goes into P3 with a 1 minute 15.9. Very nice indeed. Stark will be soon to cross the line. It's Wilco across. He's invalidated his lap time. Cannot improve. Behind him, Terziak improves. 1 minute 15.6. Now it's Thanassi. Let's see if he has an answer. Through sector 2, and he's invalidated his lap. That's it. That's it. And Stark moves up into P4. Fantastic. Buck 20, where can he go? It's only 10th place. He cannot improve, but it is at least the top 10. Thanassi, though, can't make his way onto pole position. He was 900ths up. He was chasing his own tail there. But unfortunately for him, he fell foul of the stewards. And that was all she wrote, as Vulcan gets greeted by Voldemort. Let's see if Giraffe has anything else to do. He decides he can't improve his lap because he's on the 1 minute 42. Into the pits he comes then. That's the end of his qualifying session. Only 2 drivers left. In fact, Jamie Tarquin's the only one left. But unfortunately for him, he's invalidated his lap time. So no one can challenge this man. The momentum maestro. Magnificent from Terziak. And again, he stables that car firmly on pole position. Excellent stuff there. And it is exactly what he needs to continue closing that gap, piling on the pressure. Exactly what he wants to do. Bunch of drivers into the pits. Terziak didn't come in. I'm not entirely sure why. I'm confused because there's only 50 seconds left of qualifying. But there we go. There we go. It is done, and Terziak is on pole position for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And what a great lap that is. For some reason, though, has a 5-place grid penalty. What did you do? Let's find out then. A grid. Why did he get a grid penalty though? Tell me that. Why did a collision with Maximus? Oh dear. So it looks like Terziak will not be starting on pole position then for the Hungarian Grand Prix. It feels like a Schumacher in Monaco 2012 moment. But there you are. That's how the cookie crumbles. It will be Thanassi on pole position, actually, with J-Lane second, Stark third, Milo fourth, Jamie Tarquin in fifth, Terziak in sixth, Dirkleton, Buck 57, Wilco, Buck, Vulcan, Giraffe, Big Sam, Magico, Slam, Panda, King Didi, Raiden, Maximus, and Guardian. I'm glad that's cleared that up for you. And before you know it, have a quick nap, ladies and gentlemen. Treat yourself. Wake up. It's race. Oh, for God's sake. It's the race. And it's a bit cloudy. That could get a bit interesting. Cloudy settings here at the Hungaro ring. Potential for some rain, possibly. Some weather to intervene. You never know. You never know. But we'll soon find out what eventuality crops up. Thanassi then on pole position. So Maximus going out in qualifying. Terziak actually made contact with him somewhere down the line. No idea what happened there. That'll be one I'm sure we can all watch back together in the video clips afterwards. I'm sure we'll have a great time with that. But for now, we wait patiently for the 5 red lights to go out. And if Thanassi now ever needed an opportunity to reclaim the advantage that is being chipped away at, then this is that prime opportunity. Pole position here at the Hungaro ring, provided he gets that good start, which hasn't been his forte, really, getting a good start. But if he does that today, then who knows? Perhaps he can really make the most of it and truly ascertain his advantage at the top once again. 5 red lights at Hungary. Lights out and away we go here. J-Lane on the mediums, so he won't have the start of dreams. It's Stark with the start of dreams on the mediums. What a getaway from the Aston Martin driver. We'll try and go round the outside of Thanassi, but Thanassi surely has that covered. Does get the better exit, courtesy of the soft tyres. And on he goes. But what slipstream from Stark? Tries the inside line, covered every day of the week by the championship leader. So Thanassi P1, Stark P2, Jamie Tarquin in P3 though. He's looking very racy from the outset. Yellow flag in sector 1, no. Vulcan's had a nose job and a virtual safety car is already deployed here. Halfway through lap number 1 of this race. So a disastrous start for Vulcan. Hopefully King Didi hasn't got the same problems. Otherwise, it's a disaster class. Oh, he's got an end plate missing as well. It is a disaster class. I don't believe it. Both Haas drivers with nose problems. And nobody knows how that came about, but it doesn't really matter. But there's only one thing that everybody knows. And it's that the Haas cars have had an absolute stinker of a start. There you go, the flash on the screen at the top left indicates the virtual safety car should be ending quite soon. Thanassi taking a wide line as a result, getting the cut through, just in case he can get an advantage on the Delta. And away we soon go, surely. A bit of a lift off from Stark, but surely it's coming to an end soon. I imagine it would be. However, nothing to see in terms of whether the virtual safety car is actually going away. It's a very long virtual safety car, considering all the danger is, well, it's already cleared up. But surely we're underway very soon. Things starting to ramp up a little bit here. We're trying to get away. You can't shackle these cars forever, and away we go. And Jamie Tarquin's not wasting any time on the soft tyres. Great little safety car restart. Down the inside into the left-hander and through into P2. Very opportunistic. It was clean. There was no contact at the apex, at least from the angle where I was. And he makes the move stick. Terziak, meanwhile, he wastes no time either into the chicane, although J-Lane manages to find that position in his favour. And now Milo's on the move. Down the inside of Terziak, but he covers that one off. It's hard to overtake at the best of times, but if you find yourself in a prime position, that switchback could open itself up. You just never know, and Buck 57 was almost a very happy customer of the switchback for a brief moment there. So, out in front, Thanassi through the left-hander has the lead by 8.5 tenths. Jamie Tarquin trying to keep on his case, but the gap almost a second already. Stark in P3, J-Lane in P4, Terziak in P5, and trying to find an avenue past the Ferrari man. must make the most of the pace on those soft tyres before they start to have that crossover effect and suddenly things slip away from him. Any interesting battles further down? Well, Dirk is keeping Buck 20 very honest. Mediums versus the hard tyres, and you can certainly understand why after seeing that. Yellow stripe is better than white stripe. Hear, hear. The jury has spoken. Although Buck 20, we know he's a quick customer, but when he goes wide, it's not the case. And he goes wide again into this corner. Dirk could be all over him here. Moving to the chicane, possibly. No, thinks much wiser of it. That was never going to happen in a million years. Terziak, though, is the man to watch. He needs to get past J-Lane as quickly as possible. It's vital that he does so. Lap 3 of 25 here. This race goes by quicker than you think. Keeps just within the track limits. You can't ever question his commitment. He's absolutely pushing to the ends of limit. The end of grip on this car. The medium shot and runner of J-Lane versus the soft shot and runner of Terziak. He goes a bit wider, cuts in, later ape. Oh no! J-Lane makes his own mistake. That was so close to a ferocious accident. My word, Terziak did so well there to avoid an accident, or rather Lady Luck played a huge compliment to him, and Terziak now can go after Stark. It's one car that's now been removed from that buffer, and Ferrari are now 14th and 17th. It's disaster for the Scuderia. DRS enabled on this lap then. Thanassi has it all under control for the time being. P1 for him, Jamie Tarquin in P2, 1.4 seconds, keeping it relatively stable, but Thanassi's pace for the time being is absolutely electric. I'm telling you, when he has the lead of the race, he has no intention of letting it from his grasp whatsoever. It's interesting to see the different lines as well, whether you stay in tighter for that left, open up the right-hander, get a better exit through there, or take as much speed through the left as possible, but compromise your entry into the right, and that ruins your exit for the rest of that section. So that really answers my own question. It probably keeps to the inside of the left and then sweep through that right-hander as much as you can. Yellow flag, though. What's happened? Guardian's had a bit of an oopsie. Bit of front wing end plate gone. Luckily, the KarlsCars are miles behind him, although he's met Barrier once again. And, well, he was going to need his front wing changing anyway, so he thought if you're going to do a job, do it properly. And he has done it properly. Slams into the pits, meanwhile, because there's a safety car. Okay, then. That changes things up a bit, doesn't it? So for the likes of King Didi and Vulcan, who had their oopsies on the first lap, this is great for them. They can catch right back up to the back of the pack, and their race is far from over. Slamming, Madge going, both Ferraris and Guardian in, all of them with nothing to lose in this race. Going to try and make the most of the free pit stop. So the gaps are neutralised then. Thanassi leads, Jamie Tarquin in second, Stark in P3, Terziak fourth, Millo in fifth, Buck 57 in sixth, with Buck 20 his counterpart behind him in seventh. Dirkleton in eighth, ninth is Giraffe, Wilco is 10th, and Big Sam's left the session again. I'm not entirely sure why. I assume it's connection issues and nothing more. So the Hungaro ring then. I'm sure I gave you the history talk in Season 1 on F1 23, but I'm going to do it again. First ever race to be held behind the Iron Curtain was at this very track. The layout and configuration was slightly different, but the venue remains much the same. Magyar Nagydíj in Budapest. The Hungarian Grand Prix. Thanassi will come into the pits. Okay then. So does Jamie Tarquin. So will Stark. So will Terziak. Millo will as well. Buck 57 will as well. Buck 20 won't. He's coming into... Oh, there are aliens. There are more aliens there than Star Wars 8. And the only aliens in that one have skill issues. Because the whole film is a skill issue. Anyway, Thanassi will surely come out of the pits first. You'd hope he would, given that he was the race leader, and he does remain as net race leader because the others have not pit yet. Jamie Tarquin remains net P2. Provisional P3 and 4 remain to Terziak and Stark, but retroactively. And Millo remains in current provisional P5 on those mediums. Buck 57 on the hards, Wilco on the mediums, Slam on the softs, Magico on mediums, Magic Medium Man. They call him Magico. It's the worst naming policy in the world. But anyway, so, the point is, at the front, we have Buck 20 leading. He's on hard, so he has to make another stop. As for that matter, do the rest of him behind him. Although they are not on hards, they've just decided that track position could be quite effective. And with one safety car has already come about, then there's a very, very good chance that a second one will rear its head as well. Giraffe in P3, Panda in P4, Big Sam in P5, and then I've already listed these usual suspects behind. Interestingly, Thanassi, Jamie Tarquin and Stark all on hards, but if your name's Terziak, you've decided to go very aggressive. Medium tyres for the Alpine driver. Number one, perhaps anticipating another safety car. Number two, also perhaps anticipating he's going to cut his way through the field like a hot butter knife. And then hopefully the safety car will play into his hands and he can get another free pit stop. That would be great. Big Sam does come into the pits. So that's one of the 5 out front that have bit the bullet and decided that newer tyres are the way to go. Hard tyres being strapped on to Big Samuel's car and the front wing. Oh, a nose job is needed. Oh dear. Out of the pits he comes though, and I'd be pretty confident he remains in P18. I don't see Guardian managing to jump him unless he drives Thrust SSC over the line. Which indeed he does not. Big Sam out onto the track and out into P18 of this race. I'm going to quickly get some water and then I'll be right back with you for some more spicy blackout action. I am back from my water break. The Hungarian Grand Prix then has seen, as always, many an historic moment. We saw Lewis Hamilton giving back position in 2017. We saw Max Verstappen hitting the wall on the formation lap in intermediate conditions in 2020. His team built the car back up though before the race in record time and he got a podium that day. Unbelievable effort from both team and driver. And it's why they're the best team and best driver combination in Formula 1 at the moment. The Verstappen-Red Bull combination. You cannot beat it. For now. Buck 20 then will control the field. The safety car is in and we will go again for some more spicy Blackout Racing action. So when will Buck 20 pull the trigger? He's leading the line. He decides when it goes and he pulls it now through the final corner and away we go for some more Blackout Racing in Hungary. Through immediately, Terziak's going through. Stark's been mugged off the restart. What on earth's happened there? But Terziak straight through. Milo also trying to do the same. Very wide, almost going off the track, but Milo remains to the inside for the next section. Perhaps a little bit of confidence, but no. Stark round the outside. Could hold the momentum. Still there on the inside. Tries to go through on the right-hander. Still side by side between the two of them. Incredible side-by-side racecraft from both of them. It'll be Milo that surely has it. The hand of rage fires up as now Stark gets to the inside. Milo surely has the momentum. You'd think he would. And finally, he goes. I thought he had it. Stark goes for another move into the chicane. Big slide for Milo. Finally, though. Whew, finally, he's in P8 and we can all have a breath. And it's Thanassi now that goes on the attack, as per. Although if he doesn't go on the attack, Jamie Tarquin certainly will. Down the inside he goes off the Alpine driver. Oh no! And another safety car because Buck 57 has found barrier. Our second safety car of the day. If you're on the hards, I say peel into the pits right now. Right now. But why have you not listened to me? Why have you not listened to me? Panda's listened to me. There you go. One man has seen sense. J-Lane's also pitting. You'd already made a pit stop though, but besides there's nothing to lose from P13. I don't know what happened in the Buck 57 scenario. He's left the session. I don't blame him. I have no idea what happened with him. Either too much curb, or I can only assume it was a raucous amount of side pod contact that speared him into the inside wall. It's a disaster for the AlphaTauri driver. No consolation once again as to what I think. There's been drama at every turn. The next chapter, another bit of drama sprinkled in. It's seasoned with a little bit of controversy or some zest. That's my word of the day, zest. I've always said zest, but it's especially now my word of the day. Deary me. So, we wait behind the safety car for another couple of laps. And I'm going to recline in my chair. And instead, well, Fulham beat Wolves 3-2, everybody, because of 2 second-half penalties from Willian. Willian did 2 second-half, well, 2 penalties for Chelsea against West Ham a couple of years ago. Difference is we lost that game. Anywho, what I am going to do, instead of bore you with trivia... Actually, no, I won't bore you. I will bore you with trivia because it's interesting trivia. In 2021, Lewis Hamilton was the only one to start on the grid. There, it would be Esteban Ocon to take his first race win in Formula 1 history. In 2022, it would be George Russell to take his first pole for Mercedes. In 2023, it would be pole position for Lewis Hamilton. There is a fairy tale somewhere at the Hungaroring. You've got to love it, honestly. So we wait behind the safety car for at least another lap then as the Haas boys finally latch onto the back of that queue. And we wait very patiently. I've got nothing to add. I hate safety cars. There's nothing to say. What do you even say? Oh, nice driving. Nice red car. Oh, nice sponsorship. ASMR safety car commentary. Now that I can get on board with. Come through the left-hander. Oh, that was very zesty. Through the right-hander. Oh, stop it. I'm beginning to sweat. That safety car's got more grip than much. Right. No, sorry. No, that's disgusting. I ain't saying that again. Nah, that's terrible. I'm going to pause for a little bit and think about what I've done. Safety car is in. I'm relieved. Lap number 10, double figures have been hit, and we are well on our way to some proper corkers here at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Mark 20 pulls the trigger but doesn't pull it well enough. Dirk's got a great restart. Slipstream for him, and it will surely gazump the race leader. Round the outside goes the Williams driver. The attempt is made, but Buck 20 finds the apex and finds it very well indeed. Behind him, oh, a slide for Buck 20. Through goes Dirk. He leads the Hungarian Grand Prix. Giraffe now going for the attack on Buck 20, but Thanassi finds the avenue, trying to go round the outside. Does go round the outside. My word. Incredible restart there, and now it's Jamie Tarquin that will go on the offensive on the Mercedes car. Look how much curb he took, and it's going to compromise him. Terziak goes through. Too much curb, unbalanced the car, and the Alpine driver is on the move. Up into P5. Giraffe is his next target. With a neck like that, you better start sweating. Through the right-hander. No, Giraffe with a 3-second time penalty, and it's going to get worse. The problem is going to snowball effect. Through goes not only Terziak, Jamie Tarquin also follows him. That's getting a bit frosty behind as contact was made there. But Jamie Tarquin is through. Milo goes round the outside, and Giraffe is slumping down the field. terrible scenario. Dirk, your race leader, though. Buck 20 in P2, Thanassi in P3 at the moment. It's a bit of a slipstream train going on, though. So nothing can be done for the time being. Goes for that wider line, though. Tries to find a superior exit, but again, no avenue through. Terziak now has no cars between himself and his target, and with 2 safety cars to help him save his tyres, that is very good news indeed as J-Lane's in. Oh dear! A nose job for the Ferrari man. Raiden also probably had a nose job of some kind. That is terrible news. But back to the front meanwhile. All getting very zesty. No car is outside of DRS from P1 to P13. That's pretty incredible, I must say. Could get very spicy. And I like spice. It's very nice. Right-hander and then the left-hander. The medium's firing up very nicely for the Williams driver. How long, though? I mean, Terziak's absolutely hounding Thanassi. Almost pushing him through the corner. To the inside he tries to go. Makes Thanassi defend a little bit. Just trying to prize him out of the DRS and slipstream with the cars ahead. But newer tyres, he's always going to have to slingshot out of the right-hander. And so the train continues for these 3 behind. Thanassi, Terziak, Jamie Tarquin even. Yes, he's got a time penalty. That's not great. But where he has the time penalty, he also has pace. So don't ever discount him from this race. A wide line again from Thanassi as he tries to find a way through. Looks like he could find a way through. Possibly to the inside, but no. Buck 20 defends the middle of the road, and so the battle will rage on. Through they go, and this is hurting their race all the while, sitting behind. Jamie Tarquin looks like he could get a bit feisty, but nothing doing there. Still, we watch to see if Thanassi has any answer. We watch to see if Stark has any answer on Giraffe. The answer is no, he does not for the time being, although the chicane could be an opportunity if he gets a good enough exit. No, there is not an opportunity. The waiting continues. It's this man in the Alfa Romeo for a brief moment that looked like he had all the answers. Milo, by the way, has kept up very well with this train. A 6-car train for the lead of this race. Granted, some of them haven't pit, but that's not really the point. The point is, Terziak's going for the move on Thanassi. Again makes him defend to the inside. It's Jamie Tarquin, though, going round the outside. That's the risk you run. But luckily, Terziak nullifies that threat for the time being. But like I said, you run a huge risk by going for the move on the inside. You leave yourself completely exposed. A huge 4D game of chess being played. Milo now closes in on Jamie Tarquin. All kinds of dynamic changes happening as the 2 KarlsCars swap positions because Vulcan requires probably a nose job. Oh dear. Wilco, though, could be on the move as his teammate tries to look for some moves. The answer is he's going to the outside, and he has made the move indeed. Great stuff there from Stark, and it can now begin the chase. And Slam is in a very, very bad position. What's happened there? In the infield, luckily no one to collect him in any shape or form as J-Lane sets the fastest lap. Hello there. That's very nice. No safety car needed in this case. And so it goes. Lap number 14 out of 25 of this Grand Prix. Dirk, your race leader, Buck 20 in P2. They're probably hoping another safety car is going to happen, but for how long can they duke it out like this? How long do they dare to dream? Because the more they do this, the less of an opportunity they have. Those tyres, Buck 20 defends to the inside, means Thanassi takes the racing line, means Terziak takes the racing line, means Jamie Tarquin is going to give his back end a bit of a smooch. Stop that right now, that's not in the rules and regulations. Through the final corners again, though. Look at the different lines being applied just to find any kind of momentum. Buck 20 almost out of DRS range of Dirk. And it means only one thing. One, he's got absolutely no battery. Thanassi into P2. Terziak trying to go round the outside of the championship leader. Thanassi defends it fairly and squarely, though. Easily counter-attacked. Terziak uses a bit of ERS to try and find any move, any threatening opportunity. But again, Thanassi manages to keep it under control. Great stuff there. Now it's Jamie Tarquin's turn. Go on the offensive on the McLaren man. Buck 20 probably doing this for the favour of Milo, to be honest with you. Wouldn't surprise me at all. And look at this. The inside line is flying out for an overtake. There's a chance it could have happened, but he defended it. He defended that opportunity. And so the waiting continues for Jamie Tarquin, who's losing time. to his nearest competitors of Thanassi and Terziak, although they're getting bottlenecked by Dirk in the Williams. So it's not all it's cracked up to be. Jamie Tarkin with a bit of a slide, though. That wasn't part of the script. Milo has the momentum, but that straight just not long enough to make any kind of inroads. As now we have Stark and Wilco in P7 and 8. Slams actually had to come into the pits, and now he's in a race with Maximus for the wooden spoon. Granted, it's a very, very prestigious wooden spoon, and look at that. Again, you saw the alternative line getting the optimum exit, and look at this. It could well be 3 wide. It won't be 3 wide because here comes Terziak. Through goes Terziak. Late on the brakes goes Terziak. Thanassi goes too late on the brakes, though. And that surely was a little bit tooth and nail and a bit circumspect. Thanassi did not make the apex whatsoever. Just overcooked it a tad. He's ahead of Dirk now. But it means that Terziak is not ahead of the Williams driver. Thanassi can keep the lead. And the man in second in the championship has to bide his time again. Well, that all got a bit frosty for a brief moment. So let me remind you, it's a community league. Please chill out. So, Thanassi leads then after some interesting turn 1 shenanigans. Dirk in P2 now, and Terziak has to again go on the move in P3 on those medium tyres, though, crucially. There's another yellow flag, meanwhile. Something's happened with a Red Bull. Big Sam's had a bit of an upset. Has he damaged his front wing? No, he hasn't. Continues on his merry way, and Voldemort is upset. Dirk actually keeping up okay with Thanassi for the time being. Terziak's not wasting any time. And possibly a bit of frustration getting involved as well. He kind of bats Derek Dirkleton out of the way. That probably isn't really part of the plan, but it's what's happened here. DRS now belongs to the Alpine driver, and the chase is now on. All getting a bit hot under the collar. Buck 20 finally pulls the trigger and comes into the pit. It's about time he did as well. What tyres will he go on to? It's the medium tyres. 8 laps worth of a sprint on mediums for the rest of this race. Where does he come out, though, crucially? It's going to be way down the order. P12 at least. The answer is it will be P12, luckily for him. So actually, he hasn't lost a huge amount of time whatsoever. And on his merry way, he can go possibly into a good result in the top 10. Terziak, though, my word, he's absolutely hounding the rear of Thanassi through that first sector into the second sector. Let's see what the tyre difference is looking like. Thanassi, there you go. Like I said, the alternative line going for that shallower line into the left-hander, which means he can open up the right-hander, sling it through absolutely beautifully. Means he gains a little bit of time, but Terziak manages to stay with him. The slipstream effect is super powerful, keeping the Alpine driver well within range, and exactly what he needs to happen, because now he's well within DRS range. Only half a second is the gap. Meanwhile, behind, we'll look to see what happens with Dirk and Mr. Jamie Tarquin and Milo. Both of them on the back of him. DRS will be wide open. Terziak, though, bides his time for the moment, actually saving quite a bit of battery. Thanassi's got loads of battery himself, so it's all happening. Milo's gone for the move on Jamie Tarquin, meanwhile, and has got through. Excellent stuff there. The McLaren man blitzes up into P4. And now his fight against Dirk can begin. Could be 2 podiums in 2 races for the McLaren driver. And what a great scenario that would be. So yes, please do your job, Milo. Any other dynamics getting a bit fruity? Well, Terziak's certainly upping up. Upping up? That's weird. He's certainly putting the pot to a boil. It was simmering. Now it's casserole central for the Alpine man. Those mediums clearly working still very nicely indeed. Only 3 tenths the gap through the right-hander. 2.5 tenths is just agonisingly close. Stark with a 3-second time penalty, though. Oh, dearie me. But he's now right on the back of Dirk. Look at that. Stark, who was 2 seconds behind, now is caught right up to the back of this train. Oh, dear. Massive mistake for the Ferrari man of J-Lane. What has he done? And he's really overcooked it. The tyres have shredded themselves to pieces. And Jay Ladbrokes has absolutely scarpered out of a good position. Well, decent position anyway, but now it's no points whatsoever for the prancing horse. That's absolutely terrible news. And now he's left in P18 and with egg on his face. The battle at the front still rages on then, and Milo did get past Dirk. Into P3 he goes. So now he can escape. He can escape into the distance. Like I said, 2 podiums in 2 races, not completely out of the question, and he's certainly going for it. And catching up a tiny bit to Terziak up ahead. That could get interesting if he has the pace to do so. I'd very much welcome a 3-way fight for the win, nay, even a 4-way fight, as Mr. Tarquin is, well, having some nosh there on the back of Dirk's car. That's gross. Stop it. But he's in the slipstream firmly. Could think about diving down the inside, but luckily chooses not to. He's actually batted into the back of Dirk. Oh, dear. Things getting a bit hot under the collar there for a brief moment. Hopefully no residual front wing damage. Otherwise, he is toast. Through the final corner, and Dirk does come into the pit lane. Finally, the Williams driver pulls the plug on it. Buck 20, meanwhile, is the man that's going to be on the move. Stark and Wilco P5 and 6 now. Aston Martin will be very happy with that points haul. Buck 20, though. Look at this. Could go around the outside of the Haas car of King Didi. Look at the difference of the new tyres. Lovely stuff there from Buck 20. And with DRS to boot, he sails through into P9 now, because, of course, Dirk's come into the pits. Yes, he'll be on those fresher tyres, and softs no less. But undercut, 1, very powerful, and 2, those medium tyres have fired straight into life. And P8 is not even out of the question. Nay, P7 could well be on the cards for Buck 20 here. Look at the time he's gained already. Fantastic. Raiden, meanwhile, might have said his pace was a bit horse all over the floor, but he's P15 now, actually gaining a solitary point for the Alfa Romeo team, which is more than can be said for some of the other drivers in this race. Maximus, Slam, Panda, and J-Lane nowhere near him, and not making enough progress to try and make the move. So, for the time being, he is well and truly fine. Thanassi going for the wide lines, though, to try and get that better exit. In this case, though, he does remain narrow, but Terziak is closer than he has ever been. But it means Thanassi is just using the battery, deploying it a tiny bit to counteract Terziak. Terziak doing no such thing, though. No counter-espionage being deployed there. Stark is the one that could be piling the pressure on Tarquin, though. Fantastic. A bit of a slide out of the corner. Keeping to the inside. No DRS for the Alfa Romeo driver. Stark round the outside. Look at that. Late on the brakes as you damn well dare. Has the inside line for the next corner. And through into P4. Excellent work from Stark there. Love your work, fella. Said Abu Dhabi was going okay. I think this is going more than okay. You're absolutely flying here in Hungary. And he's feeling very peckish for a podium, I would suspect. Fantastic. The front 2 positions still rage on then. Stark into DRS range of Milo. Got the bit between his teeth now. He's absolutely going for that final podium position. Jamie Tarquin not letting Stark out of his range, is like a dog with its favourite tennis ball. And that was very late and very interesting. Slams out, though. No. Out of this race in the first sector. Mistake to the inside. I think he was fighting, I can't remember, I think he was fighting with Maximus, though. Devastation, though. Hits the barrier. Race done. Oh, dear. More DRS games being played between these two, though. Again, Thanassi with the ERS deployment. Terziak biding his time and really just pulling himself along. So I guess this is the way you want to go, really, if you can do that. Jamie Tarquin again, very close to Stark, though. My word almighty, that was close, but no opportunity presents itself for the Alfa Romeo driver, and Stark remains in P4. Slam leaves the session. He's, for no other word of it, slammed his steering wheel through his monitor. I do not blame him, to be honest with you, as Buck 20 does indeed go up to P7. Quick as a flash, he's up there and in the hunt. Won't be an improvement unless there's a huge mistake. A huge mistake. Well, it was worth a try. I'm sorry, mate. But P7 is nothing to turn your snout up at, especially when you had to make a pit stop later than everyone else. You're still getting some very, very good points for the team. Again, though, at the front, the DRS games will continue with just over 3 tours of the Hungarian Grand Prix to go. Thanassi and Terziak. It was the battle of the T's last time as well. Granted, not for the win for various reasons last season, but it is for the win this time. Again, Thanassi deploying a bit of battery, being careful and cautious about how he deploys his battery. Terziak extremely close through that turn 1 complex. No battery being deployed. The straight is so short. That first straight is really the main prime opportunity of overtaking. Yes, you can try and carve your own way through if you so dare, but with DRS, that is really your best opportunity. Maybe the second straight as well, if you force them into a little bit of mistake, force them into their own mistake, no less. Make them defend to the inside too harshly. You get the switchback, have the momentum. Then it's good night, Irene, for the person you're overtaking. However, in this case, that is not to be transpiring. Behind, though, Dirk is already up to P8 on those soft tyres and absolutely flying. Buck 20, by the way, has caught up a second to Wilco already on this lap. I watched that gap with interest, actually. That could get very fruity. Terziak's very close. Look at that, 2.5 temps. Don't need any more proof than that, really, do you? Although surely that crossover is going to begin soon between the hards and the mediums. Going aggressive is always going to be the game plan for Terziak, but sliding both drivers there, fighting on the edge of grip on both their cars. And still the DRS games continue. Now just 2 laps of this race to go. Again, a bit of battery counter-espionage there as Giraffe moves up into P10, but still side by side. Come on, husband! Don't let him through! The inside line is yours. Squeeze him out. Do what you need to do. But no, he's been smart. He's got DRS. Good idea, husband. I love your work. DRS white. Oh. Wait, Giraffe's got no battery. There is every chance that this is still possible then. Could try and go for a heinous dive. No, he didn't. Well, Jamie Tarquin and Stark is where the battling is at. 4 attempts of a gap between the Aston Martin and the Alfa Romeo driver. Stark just about keeping within reach of Milo's DRS range. What is 2 laps to go is actually 1.5 laps to go. Nay, make that almost 1 singular lap left of this Hungarian Grand Prix. And remember, both of these drivers have 3-second penalties. Wilco can still finish 4th in this race and a bit wide again from Stark. Really pushing to get in DRS range of Milo here. Still, all very much to play for in terms of track position, but in terms of penalties, that's another question entirely. This is Terziak's probably final chance. He can deploy everything he's got now. Absolutely everything. Pedal to the metal stuff then. The final battle will rage on in this last lap of the Grand Prix. Late on the brakes as you dare for the Alpine driver. Look at that exit. Where's that come from? Shallow as you want. Down towards the second corner. Could try something absolutely wild if he wanted to. Nothing presents itself though. Gets a great exit. Finds himself in the slipstream. Thanassi has every single answer to the queries of the Alpine driver. And could we once again be heading for a Thanassi and Terziak special? A Terziak winning the first race, a Thanassi winning the second. It looks entirely possible for the time being. Through the chicane they go. Surely no opportunity there. Will ride on board with the chasing car through this section. Again, Thanassi opening out that right-hander. Terziak remains within range, but has to be a little bit circumspect before getting on the power. Has to bide his time and a slide and a snap. And that's surely it. That is surely it. Thanassi has fought so hard to keep this position, did everything he needed to do, he absolutely knew it's difficult to overtake at the Hungaro ring, had every answer to the questions of cars behind him, never backed down, never felt the pressure. Thanassi comes across the line and wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. Kudos to both drivers, Terziak and Milo, for some phenomenal racing today in Blackout. Milo as well, P3 on the road. Stark got P4. Unbelievable. That last lap push to the end. He did everything he needed to do. With a bit of assistance from the DRS of Milo, Stark keeps P4 on the road. And where he said Abu Dhabi was okay, this was certainly absolutely brilliant. Wilco 6th, Jamie Tarquin 7th, it's Dirkleton in 8th with Buck 20 in 9th, Magico in P10 in this race, Giraffe 11th, Vulcan 12th and King Didi in 13th, a double point score for the Haas team. Big Sam comes 14th, and Raiden claims the final points-paying position. Maximus and Panda will roll their way over the line soon. But, oh! Well, how's Guardian done that then? I don't believe it. The Williams driver was apparently behind a Mercedes car, but unbelievably out of nowhere, he's won the Hungarian Grand Prix. My word, would you believe it? I certainly can't. He even gets driver of the day. Well then, how's that happened? Some alien interference has happened there. Teleportation hacks for Guardian, but they've won him this Hungarian Grand Prix. And he has Blackout in his name, perhaps. The scoreboard was calling his name. Thanassi will not lift the winner's trophy then. Stark leaves in disgust. He can't believe what he's seen. I'll be honest, I have no idea what's happened. Thanassi's won though, that's all you need to know. That's really him holding up the silverware and not Guardian. I was going to say, because Buck 20 was in P8 and then suddenly dropped to P9, and I was like, that's not possible. How'd that happen? Well, it's Guardian with a 1 minute 14.8. Can you believe it? 4 seconds quicker than everyone else, and clearly that last lap, they didn't want it. They absolutely did not want it. Mr. Guardian says, I won. And, well, the evidence in front of you would suggest that he has. Oh, dear. Well, skill issues from Codemasters, which is really rather quite common. But in this case, it's gifted Guardian a win in the Blackout Racing League on F1 23. Last to first, he is officially the GOAT. GOAT Guardian got his trotters on and absolutely blitzed the rest of the field. 3.7 seconds to Thanassi in the end, who just didn't want it. He just didn't want the challenge. Neither did Terziak. They tried to keep up, but when you're 4 seconds a lap faster, well, I mean, the evidence is there for you to see, really. There's only one outcome, which is you lose. Anyway, really, what is it? Okay, what's the actual result? Well, Thanassi, Terziak, and Milo are your top 3. Milo has actually got 2 podiums today, so well done to him. Fantastic effort for the McLaren man. Fantastic effort to everyone, actually. What racing you gave me today. Boy, did it have no shortage of drama, let me tell you. Drama from the absolute offset. My goodness me. No one backed down. It cost a lot of people. For other people, it was what raveled them. And some it unraveled. Is raveled even the word? You ravel something? Probably not. It's like being dishevelled, but you're never shevelled. Or being overwhelmed and underwhelmed, but you can never be just whelmed. That's a discussion for another day, honestly. I have no idea. But let's run down the races. Let's run down this day of Blackout, and then we will call it a night, I think. My voice is going. I've been actually quite ill the past couple of days, so was this a good idea? Possibly not. But I did that anyway. But I did it anyway because I'm so dedicated to the cause. So there you go. You can't question my commitment, ladies and gentlemen. But let's start off with Abu Dhabi. Wow, no shortage of drama in Abu Dhabi, let me tell you. Terziak ended up winning that race. Congratulations to him. And with fastest lap, the full complement of 33 points. Overall today, he gains 3 points to Thanassi in the Drivers' Championship. It's not a big gain, but it's a gain nonetheless. That's the crucial thing. But there was no shortage of drama. Like I said, Jamie Tarquin, contact with the right rear wheel of Thanassi sent him spinning into the wall. Ended up P11 in the end. Devastation, really. The winner in F1 22 of that race in the last full season of Blackout had to resign himself to just outside the top 10 in the DRS train, where things can get a bit fruity. Thanassi made his way into P2 though, and almost was in DRS range. One more lap and things could have got very interesting, but alas, it was not to be. Milo with a podium. Stark was a victim of insanity. Speared into the wall after contact with Giraffe. What was an okay race up to then, would have been in the top 5, but unfortunately, computer said no for some reason. The main thing of the day was the commentator's curse. I said it on Buck20. I said it on Panda. I think I said it on Jamie Tarquin as well. I apologise to all three of you. And also don't apologise because I can't control that. So, there you go. Oops. And then we headed to Hungary, where I thought there couldn't be as much drama. There wasn't as much drama. So that question, part of the question was answered. But there certainly was a good race to be had. A very good race to be had. Thanassi ended up just edging it out, which is why he's now banned from Blackout. I'm joking. I think the main thing is that he won the race and, crucially, stakes his claim at the top of the championship, and also the fact that it's going to be a very, very close fight for the top of that championship. My goodness me. Terziak, a valiant P2 effort, and Milo, 2 podiums in a night. Very, very nice for him indeed. And he'll be very, very proud of the job he and McLaren have done as a whole this week. 3rd and 5th in Abu Dhabi, and then 3rd and 8th, I believe it was, in Hungary. So a good haul of points for the Papaya Pros as they look to hold down P2 in the Constructors' Championship. Well then, my goodness me, what fun it was in Blackout. So now I'll get the pleasantries out of the way. Firstly, well done to all the drivers today. Got a bit tasty at some points, I will admit. But on the whole, it was an absolute pleasure to watch. Well done to every single one of you. Congratulations to the race winners and podium dwellers today. Thank you to Blackout for allowing me to commentate on this series. As I always say, I can't imagine doing anything better with my Monday night. And race evenings like this prove why. Drama at every crevice. And just when you think the fun is over, it's never over. And you've got to love that, honestly. You absolutely do. Haven't got your fix of Blackout? Haven't quite quenched the thirst of Blackout Racing? Well, don't worry. If you go to my YouTube channel, KarlsCars, firstly, subscribe. And secondly, then go to the playlist called Commentary. There you'll be able to find every single Blackout broadcast I have ever done uploaded there in VOD form. So you can go through the whole race again and relive it as if you were actually there. Well, you are and you aren't. It's a bit of a weird one, that. You're welcome, Terziak. Thank you very much indeed. Well done to you, my friend. Very nice racing. I've thoroughly enjoyed watching that. Absolutely, I did. Well then, all that remains for me to say is, where are we heading to next? Well, I can answer that question for you right about now. Ladies and gentlemen, we are heading next. 4th of December. We are in the month of Christmas. My God, has that come around quick. But we are in Belgium, Spa-Francorchamps, and then the Dutch Grand Prix in the Netherlands. You need to go offline so I can watch the race back, Carl. I will be going offline soon once I've done all of the pleasantries, Dirk. Do not worry. And then I'll publish it straight away. Whoop whoop to the Dutch Grand Prix. Dirk's home race. An element of surprise, perhaps, to feature in that race. A homecoming fairy tale. That's all for you to find out very soon. Next week, Monday at 8 PM British time. He's been binning it since F1 2020. Oh no. Or perhaps maybe not a fairy tale homecoming or homecoming fairy tale. But for Dirk's sake, I certainly hope it is. It'd be very nice to see. That's all I'm saying. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope you all have thoroughly enjoyed. Thank you for sticking it out for 2 races of Blackout today. What racing it was. Follow Twitch if you haven't already. Go to my YouTube channel. Watch all the Blackout highlights from previous races gone by in the commentary playlist. And until next week, it's been an absolute pleasure. I can't speak English, but I love and appreciate every single one of you. I hope you all enjoyed. I'm waffling at this point, so it gets to the beat drop. I'm waffling. That last race of the season was good, wasn't it? Well, Verstappen won, that was obvious. Battle for P2 went down to the very last lap. Leclerc tried to give some psychological advantage to Perez. Fortunately, it didn't work. Verstappen GOAT. Currently, he is. He's driving out of his skin. And that will probably continue into next season as well. Hopefully, it's a bit closer. It's the Beat Drop. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Love you all. Bye.
wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. See the horizon turn us to thousands, and we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon turn us to thousands.